Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the V8 Veterans channel here for the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans Split 2 action of Season 23, round number 6 this week at Winton Motor Raceway. I'm your commentator here tonight, Hamish Munro, joined once again through sight and sound, the great Brett Fisher alongside. Brett, I know the words you've got lined up right now. I'm not going to steal your thunder, but I have a feeling you're going to be correct in the statement you're about to make.
Fired up for what we've got coming tonight, because I reckon, oh, there we go, it's going to be a cracker of a race. I said it anyway. Yeah. How are you, Hamish?
I'm good, thanks, mate. I'm good. I'm excited for tonight's race. I love Winton. It's one of my favourite circuits to race. I know it's a bit of a contentious pick to have as one of your personal favourites to drive, but I love Winton. It has a very, very special place in my heart, and it's a track that it's one of the few tracks I've actually taken a win at before. I really, really enjoy this place. It has got a certain rhythm about it, a certain je ne sais quoi, as they may say. But it comes down to how much, can you find that through the roar of the engines and through the squeaks of birds and the roars of fans, can you find that little bit of rhythm in all of that to get yourself set up for what is one of the toughest circuits to set a clean lap time in. We come into this round with Jim Caparona still leading the championship, a bit of a chink in the armour from last week, though he is on the back foot coming into Winton, needs a strong round tonight, cannot afford a mistake, cannot afford to get caught out in trouble. If he does, it's going to put the pressure on him leading forward to Mosport next week and then the final couple of rounds after that. We'll have a quick gander at the track. Of course, it started out as a club circuit up in the northeast of Victoria on the border of Albury-Wodonga not too far south, about half an hour away from Albury Wodonga. And as I said, it's a place that's very special in my heart, Brett. I'm sure you've been here a couple of times from
Yep.
many years ago. And it's, if you ever get the chance to actually see a race here, there's something about it. It has that. You can go there in the modern day, and it feels like a mid-80s, mid-90s local race meet. It just feels like country racing at its finest. It all starts out on the main straight. This is the newest part of the circuit. This sort of little back section. You start on that main straight. You head up towards 1 and 2 at the S's, where you go onto the old circuit. And this is the first big test of the race. Lap 1, turn 1, 2. Very easy that drivers could get tangled. Very easily we could see incidents happening as well. And they've got to be cautious not only of the run through the corner and the entry, but the exit as well. There is a curb of death on the left-hand side on exit that they have to avoid to an absolute T. If you're a millimetre off your run, you're going to end up bouncing and likely going to end up in the wall with your car needing a tow.
I reckon through the S's is one of the most funnest part of the track. And I tell you what, when you get through there and you get through there cleanly and you get a nice hole shot out of that second corner, it's a great feeling and it's a good part of the track.
Yeah, I think if you can get it right, if you can get your car through there, get yourself set up well, you want to try and hook the tyres in either of the sausage curbs. So first part of the chicane, you hook it on the left, and then as you kind of start to go towards the right again to come out through 2, you want to hook it again on that little right-hand curb and then try and dance the car out onto the ripple strips. But again, you've got to be cautious of that exit. As you run it up to turn 3, this is a tough spot. It is an overtaking opportunity if drivers are going to give you the space. But you've got to be able to work with it. You've got to be able to work with each other, have a bit of a understanding between each other, and you can't be half-assed about the move. You've got to go for it. You cannot back out last second because it's going to end up in tears at 3. Same at 4 as well, Brett. If you can get this first little section right, it does set you up for turn 5, which is quite an awkward corner. It's almost triple apex as you come around it. You hit a little apex first, you tuck it out wide, hit another one, then as you run up to turn 6 at the rollover, you got to try and keep it nice and settled through there because there's some big bumps through here which could unsettle the drivers.
Getting through this part of the track is essential to the slower section of the track, and it's like anything. The whole track's got its pluses and minuses. It's not a bad section of track, but you do have to watch how much slide you're putting into the car and making sure you're putting the car in the right spot. You can sort of get over a couple of curbs and sort of help the car getting on a bit of a straight line, but you can try and line up a bit of a pass on rollover corner into Penrite, but whether you're able to pull it off, that's the next thing.
Yeah, if you can get yourself done it well through 5, 6, the little section at the Gumtree, it has some other names as well. We're not going to mention those, but 7, 8, and 9, this is more or less second gear all the way around, trying to hook up the curb and just get the thing turned. It's the toughest part of the circuit. Your forearms are getting an absolute workout, Brett, and it's one where you've got to try and keep yourself in check as well through there.
Well, I nicknamed the 6, 7, 8, and 9 stutter corner. Or stutter corners. Because I don't know how many people actually had stuttering and stuff like that, but I'll tell you now, last night and the last few tracks were getting a lot of stuttering, and I was copping a heap of stuttering, and by the end of the night, I was actually feeling a bit dizzy coming through this section of the track.
Yeah, you feel like you're going round and round in circles. You just got to try and keep it nice and settled. As you exit that section there, you come round towards the new part of the circuit again, off the old club circuit, down at turn 10. Good overtaking opportunity. The run out of 9, you've got to be careful. The bump on exit again, you could really slip and slide it through there as well. 10, good passing opportunity, but you've really got to try and run side by side through turn 9 to make turn 10 a proper overtaking opportunity, because it lets you run side by side down that straight. It lets you tuck up the inside or out on the outside and force the driver on the inside of the corner to make that real tight run, which ruins their run down the straight. If you can get all that done correctly, it's then a drag race to turn 11 at the end of the straight, where you've got to be cautious, careful, you don't lose under brakes, because you're just going to go straight off into the sandpit straight in front of you. These last 2 corners, though, tough section. keep it nice and tight, run it out really wide right onto the pit entry, keeping it wide, tucking it tight in again at 12. This is the hardest pit entry I think we've seen all on all the calendar thus far. You're coming in quite hot, very easy to muck it up as you come in because you're coming to a dead stop, turning, getting it going again, and then you've got to be on the anchors by the farm gate to make sure that you are not over the speed limit. It's a shortish circuit, 3Ks. This layout's been used since 97. Prior to that, they used the club circuit, which cut out turn 11 and 12, and the now start-finish straight as well. 12 corners located out in Benalla. It is a tough, old-style, old-school circuit, and it is one that is going to test these drivers here this evening to the absolute maximum degree. But it's one that I'm so looking forward to because I love this place. Absolutely love it. And I think it's one where not everyone likes it, Brett. I can understand that. Not everyone likes it. Not everyone, is a big fan of this track.
It's a patience track, I think, too. It's one of those
is.
ones you've got to be patient on the throttle. You get on that throttle too early and the car is going to be all over the shop. Car gets excited and lots of stuff. I'll tell you a quick story, Hamish. I have been to Winton. I've raced around Winton. Nothing really all that exciting. But a mate of mine, he had a 650 horsepower AC Cobra replica. And he was a mate of mine. He said, mate, we're going into Winton. Grab your helmet. Let's go down. We'll do some laps. Anyway, so we got down there. And he had his son there as well. So him and his son went out in his car and did a few laps and lots of stuff. Anyway, so he comes back in after the session and he goes, rightio, yeah, no worries. He said, right, you can go out. I said, what do you mean? He said, yeah, you can take my car out. I said, righto. And so here I am in this 650 horsepower AC Cobra. And I said to him, and I've never driven on the road before or anything like that. And I said to him, well, mate, how do you want me to drive this thing? He said, mate, drive it like I drive it. I said, how do you drive it? He said, I drive it like I stole it. So here I am going around this bloody Winton racetrack in a 650 horsepower AC Cobra, and I got out there and I sort of give it a bit of the berries and lots of stuff. Anyway, coming around turn my thingo's blurry. Coming around turn 10, just got on the gas a little bit early, went sideways and looped the thing in the grass, and I finished a few more laps and come back in, and his mate goes, mate, Jesus, were you shitting yourself? And I said, no, I was all right. I said, I was shitting myself a little bit when I hit the grass and was sort of skipping sideways for a bit. And I thought, oh, Jesus, here we go. I'm going to roll this bloody thing. So, but anyway, it was a good day. I had lots of fun, and everyone survived, no damage to cars.
Well, that's a bonus then, isn't it? It is an absolute bonus.
But it was a lot of fun.
It is, and like, the only time I've ever been here is on a race weekend for supercars in 2019. It was a wet, dreary Victorian weekend, but it was a great time.
That would not be possible.
Not possible. Yeah, but it was a great time. Honestly, even in the rain, it was a great time. It was just, again, it just felt like a regular. It didn't feel like a supercars race meeting. It felt like a regular race meeting. It felt like anyone could be there. Anyone could make it there, and that's the sort of feeling you get off this track, is that anyone could make it and race here. It's a very similar feeling to Sandown, but I feel like Sandown has more of an aura about it just based on the fact that it has the 500, where Winton's more or less always been a season filler. It's filled the season, it's the extra track that they add on, and I think the racing that it brings is quite spectacular, at least in real life. I am hopeful for a couple of things. Number one, I'm hopeful that we get some good racing. I always want to have good racing here. Number two, I'm hopeful that the podium finishers actually go to the skid pad and do a burnout. They're my two wants and wishes.
Yep.
If they do not go to the skid pad, they automatically lose their podium. That's my thought process.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
you know what? If they're up for driver of the day and they don't go to the skid pad, they are non-eligible anymore.
Oh, well,
I'm putting the hammer down on that.
Jeez. Bit harsh, but anyway.
Well,
I was going to say something about the track. As a spectator, it is one of the best tracks to go to as a spectator, because you can see just about the whole track depending on where you are.
If you stand sort of up at the exit of turn 2, you can pretty much see the whole thing.
Oh yeah,
it's
spectacular. That is a great spot. And I must say, watching the cars come through 1 and 2 is fantastic. Just the attitude on the cars and all that stuff. The only thing is, if you're over the back around near the gum tree, you miss a bit of the Falcon Straight. and things like that. But as I said, you can see a fair bit of it. But anyway, that's about spectating. That's about what I did. That's about what we're doing. We're building up. But let's get on to what's happening on the track at the moment. I mean, the guys are out there. They're punching away. And I'm pumped for tonight. I reckon it's going to be a cracker race. There's a lot of things up for grabs, as we normally have. And I reckon we're going to be in for some exciting close racing here and there throughout the track. I don't think it's going to be as tightly contested as last race, where we had a large group of cars nose to tail. But I reckon there's going to be a nice couple of little battle packs going on throughout the field. We'll need to keep an eye on.
I agree. I think this is a track where the drivers will naturally separate into the little pace packs, where they're in the battle packs. The drivers are round about their pace. There will be some outliers of drivers who may get penalties or end up in incidents, of course. That normally happens at Winton. Yep. But yeah, I agree. I think we're going to get those maybe battle packs of 3 to 5 or 6 cars where everyone's on the similar pace. It's a tough track to pass on. You've got to try and force the move.
Incredibly hard track to pass on.
You've got to line it up three corners before, pretty much. If you want to move at turn 9, you've got to set it up at turn 7. You've got to try and get the run from 7 to then hound them at 8 to then set them up for the move at 9. That is the sort of dynamics of this track.
Yeah, and if you're following someone, you're really watching the attitude of the car to see whether they make any mistakes, and then you can take advantage of it, and hopefully get somewhere. But yeah, we'll see what happens. It's a good day out there. It seems to be quite consistent weather we've been having on the tracks at the moment. There was some discussion we're going to see a bit of precipitation, but that has all been sort of cleared away. We must have had a bit of wind blow on, so we've got a nice day here for racing.
Yeah, I think the fact that we don't have the wet weather tonight really pushes home the thought process that I have that if we are going to get rain this season, it will be at Interlagos in a couple of weeks. We spoke about it last week. I don't think motorsport's the right choice if it was going to get rain, just because it's chaotic already in the dry. Wet rain would make it worse, I think. And then Daytona you can't, because it's on a bowl, so they don't race in real life at the wet there. It wouldn't be realistic. So yeah, I think Interlagos is the next best option. It's a good track. You can race around there in the wet. It does its job, and it does its job well.
I would not have liked to have seen Winton in full wet.
Oh no, no. I saw it on Tuesday, and it was not the go. It was too wet. There were swimming pools between turn 1 and 2. It was not a good time whatsoever. But regardless, we're getting ready.
Look, here we go.
We're getting ready for the race start, ladies and gentlemen. And the starting grid will be as follows. Andrew Rushworth, Facebook, Apex Esports League will start pole position here tonight. A great qualifying from Andrew. Puts it on pole ahead of Sean Vandermill in a 9.5 SimSport on the front row. Ricky Hyde, Damon Fisher. Sorry. Wow, my brain.
Oh, there's a new Fisher.
I'm not used to commentating on a Friday night. This is the issue. But Ricky Hyde, Damon Fisher on the second row. Lon Mackay and Tim Mulford for your third. Andrew Hoffman and Steve Lanyon will line up in P7 and P8 with Matt Muggleton and Brian Minogue for your top 10. Matt Scholes and Mikey Harland will then line up out of P11 and P12. Big news coming out this week for Mikey. He will join at Southern Cross Racing at the end of the season to help front that team alongside Hoffy. We'll see how they go working together this season whilst he's still a privateer, and then when he's in there as a full-fledged member of the team, and if he can help push them to the next level as well. Chris Blanchard, Reese Degoe, then in behind with Shane Randall and Dave Arney for your top 16. Poor qualifying from the championship leader, Jim Caparonis, here tonight. He'll have to really work from back in P17 to try and clinch home some good points. He'll start alongside Mick Clifton on the 9th row with Derek Lovegrove and Simon Haynes in behind. Paul Burns, Brent O'Brien will then make up the top 22 with Halil Cesar and Rick Viger for your top 24 with Matt Stores and Brett Taylor for the top 26. Brett Fisher, Peter Baxter for P27 and P28 with Jeremy Bush and Adrian Zeal for the top 30. Richard Barella, Scott Weston will then make up the back of the field. Matt Fu joined the wrong server, and Michael Quain will start at the back of the field. Our race controllers tonight, David Coleman, Tom Freeman, and Jamie Dyke as well. And a big thank you to them once again.
And just a quick thing, we had 27 cars within a second of each other, and the whole field was covered by 1.6 seconds.
That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The fact they can be that close, but it's a track where times are super, super tight. Qualifying is imperative. So if you're in the position of Andrew Rushworth, who took an almighty podium position last week, and you start on pole this week with a former race winner this season, the pressure all of a sudden is on you. What can Ricky Hyde do tonight? We know that he's been strong as well. He's yet to get that first race win of the season. He could be hopeful tonight. And then maybe an X factor up here as well. There's a couple of them. Damon Fisher, he's been a bit strong the last few weeks. We'll see how he does for Team AJR.
Yep.
Lorne Mackay as well, former race winner, former Split 1 driver. And then Tim Mulford of Phoenix Racing Team as well. Keep an eye on them. Hoffy as well. He's on the rise again after last week's front row start. And then Steve Lanyon. We know how good his best is. It's whether his best is going to be turned on tonight. That is the question as well. With guys like Muggleton, Harlan, Scholes, Randall, DeGoey, Caperonis starting further back in the field, as well as Burns and O'Brien. It's going to be a night for pushing forward as the revs rise.
Let's go, Winton.
Before the run towards turn one, and we are underway. Quite possibly a jump start further back in the field. And Rushworth has bogged it right up off the line as we run towards 1 and 2. Can they keep it clean off the start? Vandermeulen's taken the lead. Hyde, Fisher, Mulford, Rushworth, the top 5. Lanyon tucks in behind them. What a start. We've made it, I think, relatively clean through the first couple of corners, which is good to see. Caperonis already gone for a move early here on Randall as we run down towards turn 4. They just need to get into their rhythm now. Can't afford to push too early. And for Caperonis, he's going to make up spots as quick as he can tonight, Brett. He's got pace, but he's got to be patient because it's a long, long race to come with many, many laps to make moves. As Randall comes in, there's a bit of contact. Door to door. Well, he's gotten through, but they've made contact with O'Brien as well, dropping spots in behind them. I think there's been another one further back too, possibly. But it's just a scramble for position, and I think then Randall, unfortunately, just maybe getting a little bit overzealous. I think Weston's off track too. But it seemed maybe Randall just didn't quite have the spatial awareness that he needed to get past and made some contact. We'll see what RC say about it.
Well, everyone got a great start there, and we got through those few corners, and then the field compressed coming into turn 7, and that's when all hell broke loose, and we started to see a bit of competition and people jostling for placing. As we see Vandermeulen come through for the second lap, he's got a nice little lead there, just under a second away.
Oh wait, Caperonis is in as well as Arnie. Could this be a mistake now? They're coming in on lap 1. I didn't see any big damage on Caperonis' car. We'll see how this plays out. Hopefully it is just to fix the car and not for any reason other than that.
He's copped a meatball for some reason. I'm not sure.
I don't know. I mean, it was pretty minor contact. One thing that we do need, one X factor we do need to mention tonight as well. Actually, there was a mistake with the server on Thursday. Every driver, instead of having one fast repair, has unlimited. So if they crash, it means they get the bonus of continuing on pretty much every single time. Thanks, Logan. Appreciate it.
Mulford on the back of Fisher, so he's under a bit of pressure from Mulford at the moment. Mackay on the back of Rushworth and Minogue, got that name right. So we've got a few little challenges throughout the field here. Scholes on Hoffman, Randall on Blanchard, but I think that might be relegated null and void shortly. Haynes on the back of Viger. Cesar on Lovegrove, and as we go further down the field, we've got a few more races compressing. I just done the fastest lap of the race. I can't see what that is, but
he's got some wild pace. So it's a 122.3. I need to fix that purple color. It's a bit too dark on the black. It's a 122.3. If you guys want to follow along as well with the live timing too, we'll put in the chat for you. The live timing that you guys can follow this along on your phone or your tablet or your computer, and you can actually follow along with all the stats. It will give you sector times, lap times, gaps, everything you might need to follow along as a statistician, and it will do you a big old benefit to sit with it. Further back though, I was about to say, Lorne Mackay right on the back of Andrew Rushworth, Minogue on this too. What sort of pressure now do we think that Rushy's feeling? Because that poor start, you wouldn't want it to get to him. I mean, it was a great qualifying. Wasn't the best start that he'd hoped for. I think now he's just got to push on and just try and hit his marks. He cannot afford to let this overlap him.
Look, early on you'd have to give yourself an uppercut for having a poor start, but you've got to then really compose yourself and get yourself focused on going forward, getting yourself, you can do the time, you know, so it's just a matter of getting your head focused back in the game. Don't worry about what's behind you. Try and focus and go forward.
All right, as we continue our battle on. Yeah, I understand Split 4 had one fast repair. Split 2's, there was a mistake when setting up the server. That was not a part of SupRegs at all. They weren't supposed to have that. That was just that was a mistake. It happens from time to time. We've had it happen before, Brett, in Split. I think in every Split one time before, every Split had unlimited fast repairs. Yeah. As a mistake, as Mackay maybe getting a little bit pushy there on the back of Rushworth, makes the mistake at 3, drops a couple of spots to Minogue and Muggleton. Oh, gee, Muggleton's been on the rise. First driver this season to get 2 race wins. He's etching closer and closer to the lead of the championship. If there were 2 drop rounds taken, he would be right in the hunt at this point of the season.
He'll be looking forward to push forward too. Like he's in a reasonable position at the moment, but he would want to see that car up further in the field, I would think.
Let's try and pick a good car for this, because
Hamish, you're going to put the link in the chat.
I've done that. Click on live chat and you'll find it. I can send it to you if you like.
Oh, that'd be good. Thanks.
Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Okay, that. All right. Cheers. Thanks, buddy.
No worries. It's also one of the rare occasions where I actually somewhat competitively know how to actually cut a lap around the track we're racing at. So we can actually do somewhat of a lap tour as we ride on board with Matt Scholes. So as we come down this main straight, Brett, pretty much you're just trying to get this car up to pace as much as possible. Get up the gearbox, up to 6th gear. Once you see this white line, you're going down the box to 3rd. Some drivers during practice are trying 4th. I found it was bogging up a little bit through 1 and 2s. I found 3rd was better when I've done laps here previously in this car. As you're coming up to 3, trying to get 3rd again, just tuck in nice and tight. He was a little bit wide on apex then, but that's fine. He's following cars. He's not giving up too much time. Some drivers short shifting to 4th through here. I always stayed 3rd. I just found I got the better drive out the corner. Getting up to 4th prior to turn 5 and then holding 4th gear all the way round towards the braking zone of turn 7, where you're trying to get it back down to 2nd, and then it's just 2nd gear the whole way. You rev it out up towards turn 8 as you come around this corner. You want to try and hook this curb on the inside. It lets the car really turn in nice and tight for this corner and sets you up well for the next corner at 9, where again you want to try and hook as tightly as possible. Careful of this bump on exit. You're up the box again. I was normally getting up to about 4th. I never really got up towards 5th. Down to 3rd for this corner again. 4th. Yep. And then he didn't do it that time, but you can again hook that curb. Just helps get the car turned in. And as you run up towards 11, you're getting up to about 5th or 6th. I was going to 2nd. Some drivers do 3rd here. I just found 2nd got me pulled up a little bit better. A little bit of a short shift sometimes up to 3rd, and then just getting it turned around for the final corner. It's a tough track, but when you can learn it, and you can cut lap after lap here. One of the toughest parts of the track is cutting lap after lap cleanly. That is one of the toughest parts. Shane Randall into pit lane, drive-through penalty for the contact with Jim Caparonis, which I think is acceptable because Jim has ended up towards the back of the field. Now, yes, he pit on lap 1, but I think they found, because it then kind of was domino affecting with one of those SLS cars, I think it might have been Reese DeGoey and Brent O'Brien, but they felt that the move with Randall was a little bit overzealous on lap 1. I think if it was just Jim that was involved and he dropped 1 spot, maybe just a redress and a post-race points penalty on a different occasion.
Sorry, Hamish, I'm just trying to get... I've clicked on a couple of things and I've lost the feed, but anyway, should be right. I'll get there back. I'm doing all sorts of things.
So what you can do is go into the vet server and then find the Split 2 broadcast. And if you open
no, I'm right on your feed. It's all right. I'll get there. All right. Don't panic. You keep doing what you're doing.
So at the front of the field, Sean Vandermeer leads the way. We're lap 6 of 67 at the moment. If you need me to, I can also put on my virtual camera at some point. Ricky Hyde, Damon Fisher in behind him on the podium. Tim Mulford, Steve Lanyon. Plenty of way to go though here tonight. The fuel usage, actually, something important to talk about. Lap burn, it was roughly between 2.5 and 2.6, so on average maybe 2.55. That gets you to around about lap 19. Now, you can fuel save pretty easily around here to get an extra lap. Some drivers may go to lap 20. And then it's pretty much dependent. If you want to go a half fill, so a split, that gets you about 60 litres. That'll take you to around about lap 43. You could go more than that and go 80. That gets you into the 50s, and you go less, that only gets you into the 30s. The balancing act of that is, well, do you want to try and get track position? If you get track position, there's a safety car that ruins it for you if you've gone for a short fill. Split fills the sort of safest scenario you can go for in the long fill is you are rolling the dice to get back in towards the back of the field in clean air and then push forward in your stint.
So Mulford's still on the back of Damon, just floating between that half a second and you know, and under. So he's sort of right on the back of Damon, having a bit of a pressure there. Mikey Harland, he's also having a bit of a challenge. Rick Liger, Simon Haynes and Paul Burns, and Brett Taylor, probably the closest battles at the moment on the field. So the field's spreading out a little bit, but that's okay. It'll definitely group up, and we'll definitely have some good battle packs going on.
Yeah,
so I see just so Shelwood Van Leeuwen up 1 spot, Ricky Hyde up 1, Damon up 1, Tim Melford up 2, Steve Lanyon up 3, and the biggest loser at the moment, like we talked about before, is Andrew Rushworth down 5. So he'll be wanting to get back into that game.
Yeah, inside of the 10. Mackay's also down 4, now down 5 as Harlan gets past him as well.
Yep. Still trying to get past
still contested. 1 and 2. Oh my God, he cocked the bump and he's into the wall. That was the exact thing I was talking about on that track preview.
Yeah.
The big bump on the exit, he caught it, pogo sticked up and straight into the wall.
Is this going to be a safety car, or can he get the car around?
Oh, well, it's on. You know, it's not turned off. That's the thing. The big change that came into this week was the fixing of the aero issues. When you drop aero in this car, how much it actually affects the car. Now, if you drop a piece of aero, like a rear bar, a front bar, or a rear wing, the thing is like an absolute pig to drive. You do not have the benefit of not even feeling it like it was last week. Now, this thing will feel like a boat, look like a boat, and if you put an anchor down, it becomes a boat pretty much. So drivers are now going to have to be careful of that as he looks to get it back to pit lane.
Yeah, and throwing a boat around this place is, I mean, throwing the car around here is hard enough anyway, but throwing a boat around here is, well, you know, hey, not good at all. Looks like Tim Melford is just falling off the back a little bit further than off Damon. But Sean Van der Meulen's about a second out, so he's maintained that gap nicely. And Damon's still within half a second of Hyde. So they're having a great little battle up front, still staying in contact with each other.
We're looking off the back of Andrew Hoffman at the moment.
Yeah, Hoffman.
So he's down 3, so he hasn't gotten the best start tonight. Similar to last week, unfortunately. I think that's now the glue for him, is getting those starts perfected. I think for Hoffy is get the start perfected, but Skulls is all over him. He's all over him like a rash, and it's hard to itch him off. I mean, he is one of the worst drivers you could have following you, because he will continue to apply pressure. He will not let up at all. So he will continue to apply this until Hoffy either makes a mistake or until he finds an opportunity to get past. They've got Blanchard behind them too.
Sorry, you can see Scholes, he's actually taking a slightly different line than Hoffman there too. He was just getting over those curbs a bit, all right up there. Tell you what, he'll be sniffing some exhaust fumes from there, but it's you can see the slightly different line he was taking there, just slightly hopping over the curbs. So he's trying to get a little bit of advantage. And he's, oh, gee.
Oh, my, he could smell what Hoffy had for breakfast on Wednesday. He was that far up him.
Oh, it was almost a proctologist then.
Oh, my God. He's coming into pit lane, though. So Skulls is in. He's sick of sitting behind Hoffy. He's going for the undercut here on Andrew Hoffman. We'll see how this pays off for Skulls. We know he's got lap pace for a period of time. He was for a long time. He was one of the most dominant split 2 champions for a long time. One of the only drivers to take 4 wins, or actually I think he took 5 to get a championship. When he won it, there was only one person who had more. That was Rick Sibra, who'd done 6 twice over. Well, that's now been smashed by Logan Barnett, who got 7 last season and was the most dominant performance we've ever seen to a championship. This season, it's been completely changed. I mean, I was about to say, I mean, that this season now, and I think it's probably come down to the fact we've had no demotions, which I think has been a good thing this season for all the splits. It has actually made the championship a lot closer than what it's been for a long while. The last time I remember it being this close was probably maybe season 20 or season 19. Like, it was a fair while ago that it was this close.
Very, very competitive throughout the field. Like we talked about before, you know, with the second within the top 27 drivers is phenomenal. but I've been saying, have a look at this top pack now. It's actually starting to compress again. So, you know, Hyde's within half a second. Fisher's within just over a half a second, and Mulford is just between 3/4 of a second. So these guys up front, no one's lost contact. They're staying well within contact, and there's some great battling going up here. They haven't started fighting yet, but they're starting to get close to having something happen.
Well, talk about getting close. Andrew Rushworth is hot on the heels of Steve Lanyon at the moment in the battle for P5. So we mentioned these tight little battle packs that begin to form. It's the Winton factor. You get a couple of cars here, you get another couple of cars there, and they all start to fight within themselves for position. And these battle packs will change up throughout the race as the strategies differ across the field. That'll then put certain cars in other battle packs with other drivers. It's how well you survive against these combinations that you're battling that will then determine where you end up at the end of the race. If you can, the best drivers here are the ones who can battle against just about anyone out there. So this is going to be a tough night. It's a long race. I mean, 200 Ks. It doesn't feel like a long race. You take this, you take this length of race to a track like Donington. It doesn't feel long at all. Winton, you feel like you're doing 300 Ks when you do 250 here. You will feel it in your arms, in your ass, in your back. You'll feel it everywhere, lap after lap. It is a long race, and I think it's compounded with the fact that it's so many laps. 67 laps. It feels like eternity.
Well, I'll tell you what, Hoffman nearly felt skulls in his ass before, but anyway, we'll move on from that one. But look, yeah, I mean, and as a saying, you know, we haven't got a whole pack, whole field compressed, but there are pockets where things are happening, and if we look again up further to the front, the things are closing even further. So, but you can see gaps all the way through the field, closing and closing and opening up again, you know, where there's battle packs all the way up and down. So there's a lot of exciting racing coming here. 12 laps down of 67 laps so far, and we're still in for a cracker, I think.
Yeah, I think we're still in for one hell of a fight here this evening. The biggest loser thus far in this race, in terms of having an incident, Lorne Mackay down 27 positions in P32. It's a real shame that's happened. Caperonis is down 12. He has pit, but he pit on lap 1, so unfortunately he's also going to be down the order. But we'll see how much he can make up across this race. He can still make up positions based on his pace alone and mistakes made from the rest of the field as well, Brett. He's not out of the top 15 just yet necessarily. He can definitely be within the conversation. Same thing with Shane Randall, but does he have the pace of Caperonis? We'll have to wait and see. Dave Arney as well has come through for a drive-through. Scholes is down there after an early pit stop as well. The differentials as Tagoe comes in, so O'Brien gets released. The differentials of strategies tonight, they're going to be vast compared to last week at Barber. It is going to be a vast difference tonight on strategies, whether you come in early, you do a big fill, you go long, you come in right at the end of the tank, you go short, or whatever it is. So there's many combinations of strategies in this field that will change up the order of this race drastically all throughout, and we're only going to have the proper answers of who's within this battle pretty much up until the last car comes in for a pit stop. That's when we're going to know.
The field gets cleansed.
Yeah. That's when we're going to know where the beds lie and how many have made them.
Well, you talked about before the biggest losers, and I just want to point out the winners at the moment is Rick Feiger up 11 and myself up 11. How good am I? And Brent O'Brien up 10. So they're the biggest winners at the moment. And I'm not saying I'm a winner, but at the moment I am.
Well, I mean, if you can do well tonight, Brett, you can find yourself in actually a pretty respectable position in the championship. You've not really had a too poor of a round thus far this season. You've been sitting right where you wanted to be, mid-pack, maybe between P15, P12 most weeks. And you're getting faster and you're racing against the guys you want to be racing against. The more season you can get, or more seasons you can get, the more races you can get racing in this mid-pack, the better you're going to get across the seasons. And eventually you're going to be racing for top 10 spots.
Yeah, and I struggled with, when I started practicing and stuff like that, I struggled really getting a decent time out, you know, and I really fought all week to try and find something. And only the last day I sort of started to feel something. And as the laps wound on, I found different things and was able to drive the car a little bit better. And I was just struggling to sort of just make it all happen. But it's just one of those things, like I'm on a journey, and the journey is to improve. And I'm happy with the way the series is going so far. Mid-pack, that's where I hope to be. I mean, look, everyone wants to be better with races, but for me, it's also about the challenge of actually racing your competitors around you, trying to get someone past, trying to pass someone who's in front of you, try a few different lines, and also trying to not hold someone behind you, but, trying to sort of, just defend your position. But I had a great race on Thursday last night, and I was really happy with it. So, but,
I think one tough thing that new drivers may find, and it could even be new drivers to the iRacing service as well, and I know that some people may not believe it if they've been following along with vets, Ray Smith, who's been quite dominant in these last 2 seasons, once in Split 4 and now in Split 3. But you look back a few seasons ago where he was 4 months into iRacing, when he started vets.
Sorry, Hoffman in pit lane.
Hoffman's in, yep, so keep an eye on that one to see what this fuel strategy is like for him. He was 4 months in. He had very high expectations of himself, which he still does, but he can actually match those expectations now. But he was scared to drive around other cars because he came from a bike racing background. So Ray was very scared of driving door to door. The more races he's done and the more chances he's given himself, the more comfortable he's gotten, and it's proven on track. Because his confidence is up now to race door to door with people, all of a sudden he's unlocked this beast within him to race people hard in both Split 4 and now Split 3. And he's on trajectory to come up to Split 2 next season, at least at this point. If he makes all the races this season, he continues his strong run, 9 times out of 10, you're probably going to say, yeah, he's going to be in Split 2. So we'll see where Ray ends up. He's one of those drivers to keep an eye on. Same thing, and I'm very happy about this, for Mark Houghton in Split 3 at the moment. That guy, he has deserved for a long time a solid run at a championship, and this season he is driving as best as I've ever seen in Split 3. I think Mark Houghton really is getting back into form, back into strong form, and I think if he comes back up to Split 2 next season, doesn't put too much pressure on himself, just drives, even like it's a Sunday drive, just cruises along, he will get better and better again, and he'll be up there again in seasons to come. As you're into pit lane, Brett, for your stop.
Yep, I came in a little bit early because I wasn't sure whether I was being held up or whether I'd feel, I could get a little bit more pace out of the car in free air. And I don't know, I just wanted to, because I think 18-19 was the pit, sort of originally the pit strategy. And I just felt like I wanted to release myself and try and see what I can do in a bit of clean air if I did manage to get it. But, I mean, I did see someone in the chat saying that, where was it here? Sorry, where was it? Someone saying hang on. So what the commentators are saying is if you have to be aggressive without being silly, and that's exactly right. And that's the sort of attitude that I try and take. I mean, occasionally you might stuff up a brake mark and slide and tap a car in front or whatever it is. But I generally myself try and make clean passes, and if I can't make a clean pass, or I don't think I'm going to be able to pull it off, I try and bail out on it. But it is right, you've got to be a little bit more aggressive than probably you would like, as we see the pit lane start to fill up now. But you do have to challenge it, and I'll tell you now, sometimes when people pass me in that, and I feel that there's enough room for 2 cars to go side by side, I'm not going to back out just because you're trying to get past me. I'm going to make sure that I try and let you deserve the pass or complete the pass. And I will try and fight you until I can, but without putting myself or the other person in danger.
Yeah, we often talk about it. As that you've got to drive calculated but consistent. So when we say calculated, we mean when, especially around here, for example, you have to calculate and plan your pass, because there's no room for just taking a send. There's no room for just going for it and just putting it in there and trying to hoping that it fits, pretty much.
Tell you what, we have missed this, but Hyde has actually pulled away from Vandermeulen in 2 seconds, and Damon's now closed right up in the back, under half a second of Vandermeulen. So this is interesting here. So Vandermeulen's in.
No, Hyde's in. Vandermeulen's also in. Vandermeulen's also in. So is Damon as well.
Yeah, sorry.
Andrew Rushworth's in. So we're at lap 17. Harlan keeps going.
Thank God you're here, Hamish. It'd be a total shit show.
Harlan keeps going in his Mark Larkham-inspired livery, harkening back to one of his first jobs as a livery designer, so he's paying homage to Mark by painting his car look like the old Mitre 10 AU car. Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Looks good.
Great looking livery.
Yeah, he wasn't happy with how the Mustang came out, but I think it looks good. I think it looks very nice.
Okay.
Very classy on the side. So, he
So
now
we're starting
leads
to
the
get
way.
through. Yeah, we're starting to get through our pits. We've probably got around about how many?
Probably about 2 laps or so before the apart
Fully
from the crazy big fuel savers and maybe Jim who pit on lap 1. So it's it's I think we've got half the field who've pretty much pit thus far. The last seated driver yet to pit proper aside from Jim is Dave Arney, who's P16. So that's for a CPS when I say pit proper. So he's the last driver on the list to not pit proper. Fisher is now the provisional leader as he's taken a shorter fill on the first stop. So we'll see where Damon ends up and if he ends up ahead of Mikey Harland or not. He was ahead of him when he came into pits, but this is now going to be dependent on how much fuel Mikey takes. Blanchard is hot on his heels at the front, but all 3 of these guys are big fuel savers. Harland, Blanchard, O'Brien. Blanchard and O'Brien, probably the 2 biggest proven fuel savers in the field. I mean, we've seen O'Brien do ridiculous things when it comes to fuel saving. The same goes for Chris Blanchard. So these 2 could go. Yep, Burns, Lovegrove, and Stoyles in the pit lane as well. So watch these guys to go far. Rick Feig has been known to fuel save from time to time as well, as has Simon Haynes. Good to see Brett Taylor up inside of the top 10. He goes quite unsung here in Vets, but Brett is honestly one of the nicest guys you can meet in the field. And if anyone out there I would want to get their first top 10 or a top 5 or a podium, it's this guy. He is one of the nicest guys you can speak to. And you know what? Outside of my own team and now yourself, Brett, I want to see Brett Taylor get a podium here in Split 2.
Cool. Yep. That'd be nice to see everyone win Lotto.
Yeah, everyone, you get a podium. You get a podium.
Yeah, everyone gets a podium. Look, you know,
Dane,
look,
and Dane saying like nothing like Hoffy. Trust me, Dane, Brenton, and Chris are ridiculous at fuel saving. Hoffy's very good at fuel saving. Brendan O'Brien and Chris Blanchard are also ridiculous as well. They are mega. Very, very mega.
Well, I haven't learned to drive the car properly yet, so I don't know how to fuel save, but, you know, maybe that's one of the things in the coming season that I learn to do, but I'm just trying to concentrate on driving the car efficiently at the moment. But there's so many things that you can improve on, and I think that's one of the things that excites me about it is that it is a journey, as I said before, you know, and you learn different things. Brett Taylor and Pete Baxter and Scotty Weston in pit lane and Shane Randall in pit lane.
Yep, so Randall in with Weston, Baxter, Taylor, Haynes and Blanchard. We'll see where Randall ends up. He may go for a long fill here, Brett, because of course he was at the back of the field thanks to a drive-through, so he may now go for a long stint. Maybe hope for a safety car. Who's fuel saving, Wayne? The top 5 are right now: Mikey Harlan, Brenton O'Brien, Rick Feiger, Jeremy Bush, Richard Barella, and Damon. Richard Barella. Those 5 have saved enough to go an extra lap on the predicted fuel.
Just seen Hyde do the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, he is pushing. He is pushing to get past Mulford. So this is our provisional top 3. Ricky Hyde, Tim Mulford, Damon Fisher. Hyde doing a 122.04. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
I couldn't find it.
Mikey Harland is in. Does Brenton follow? He does. You'd say Rick, Jeremy, and Richard Barella are also all going to come in as well, because I don't see a world where they save enough to go another lap. That would be ridiculous. Yep. Jeremy's in. Richard as well. Straight in. So Damon Fisher looks to take the lead of this race as he runs around the final couple of corners. And one thing that was in the sup-regs this week, Brett, was drivers exiting pit lane do not have the right of way when they exit pits. So they have to merge safely with the oncoming traffic down towards turn 1 which means you can't just bomb it up the inside at turn 1 and hope the other person's going to give you the spot. The fast car has the right of way.
It's a tough order. Great to see Damon out in front. I would like to have known what his pit stop time was. I probably should be able to have a look at it, shouldn't I? Pit time compared to others. So Damon up top. Sorry, I'm really good at this. So 21.89 for his pit stop. So it was shorter. Obviously, it was shorter. So it'd be interesting to see how that plays out for him.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, he's got to gain 4 seconds over Mulford to make this worth it. He's got to get a 7-second gap over Hyde to make this worth it as well. So it's a tough game.
You never know what happens. It is a tough game, and you can see the field slightly compressing in certain sections throughout the track now. So there's a few little groups starting to brew away.
Yeah, look at where Kappa is now. He still needs his 2 compulsory stops, mind you. He came in on lap 1, so he needs to. And I've had word that was actually a mistake. He did not mean to come in on lap 1. He meant to keep going.
Really?
Yep. He unfortunately he races in another league where you can pit on any lap, and I think he just went through the moment that happened as well. I think his wires just got a little bit crossed, and
Still driving well though. You know, I mean. It's great to see Jim. I mean, I know the last couple of races he's had a bit of a kerfuffle and things like that, but he's still driving well. He's still putting the car up the top end of the field. So, it'll be just same again. It'll be good to see how he pans out in this series. Not trying to put the Mozza in at all.
No.
But Harlan within half a second behind Cabaronis. So we've got Scholes on the back of O'Brien. So he's under half a second there. Zeal on the back of me. What is he doing there? And Simon Haynes on the back of Zippy. So there's a great little pack there going. Baxter on the back of Weston. And Randall on the back of Bush at the moment. So these are a few little challenges sort of brewing.
Yeah, they're all starting to get kicked up at this point. Simon Haynes doing quite well back here with Zippy as well.
This was a great little battle actually in low mid pack, and this pack right here was just it proved to me that it was just an incredibly hard track to pass. There was just not much opportunity at all. Simon having a bit of a look on Zippy there.
All right, well, I was wrong about the sup regs. I was told something different, so don't mind me about the blend line.
Oh, we just seen someone skid off in the background there. Who was that? Stoyles?
Was that Matt Stoyles? It was. He's kept going.
He had a big lock up.
Yep. Yep, I think I was told about that sup reg by another certain Munro in the vets field. I think he may have interpreted it wrong by how he told me, so I think they meant for safety cars when they mentioned the blend line and who has right of way.
So 23 laps of 67 laps here at Winton gone, dwindled away so far.
Yeah, I mean, we've cut through these laps relatively quickly. No safety cars just yet either, which is good to see. We like green flag running as well. Mark is exactly right. 1% errors mean everything in this split. It's exactly right, Marky. 1% is a massive, and we've spoken about a lot of times in previous seasons. Myself and Scott Gamble, when he's previously been in the room, yourself and I, Brett, this season as well. We're looking to find those 100% drivers, and it's the 1% that some drivers lack that can cost them all throughout a season. That's nothing personal to them. It's across the board. It is across the board. Last season, Logan Barnett arguably was a 101% driver. He drove better than anybody else on track most rounds. But you're then trying to find who's the next 100%er who has every little bit that they can put together a perfect season and drive their way forward. In the first half of the season, Jim Caparonis was our 100%er. Last week at Barber, half a mistake. That drops him down off the 100%. Muggleton's been up the rankings to get up towards 100% driver. Same with Vandermeulen as well. Ricky Hyde tonight proving that as well. realistically speaking, are we going to have a 100% driver this season? Well, it's going to be determined over the next few rounds, and if we get any more double ups on winners. Now, if Matt Muggleton goes on to win 4 rounds this season, and one other driver gets 2, well, then you got to argue, well, Matt's been the 100% driver. He's been the most clean, consistent. He's gotten wins. You know, he's up there. But this is going to be as close as ever. We may not see someone get more than 2 wins. We may not. And I don't say that to be showmanistic. I don't say that to create drama. I genuinely believe... Yeah, Ricky's trying to go for it. I genuinely believe that this is as close as we're ever going to get. For quite a while. Oh my God, Lanyon getting, as I'm saying, about as close as you want to get. He's getting about as close as I would want to get through turn 1, 2.
Oh, that's a butt-puckering moment going through there.
Oh, it is. It is indeed.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're talking about the 1%ers, and it's just, the tiniest of mistake, that can throw everything out. And I think that's one of the things I'm trying to concentrate on this season myself. Sorry to keep talking about myself, but hey, I'm here and I'm talking and I've got a mic in front of me, so bad luck. I'm trying to minimise my mistakes as much as possible. If I get through a race and go, you know what, I made a small error there, but generally it was a good race, I go, yep, happy with that. I've done the best I can do with what I've got at this stage. So
yeah, we'll see how this all pans out. I'm very impressed tonight, and throughout this season, I was checking over the points tonight. I've checked some of the drop rounds too. Brenton O'Brien has been very sneaky this season. He has been sneakily good. He's been very consistent. He's been lying in the weeds most weeks, has Brenton O'Brien. Do not be surprised if he is within the top 5 at the end of the season, just based on sneaky consistency. This guy is lurking. Every week we brush over his name, and I feel bad, but we brush over his name, but he's always there. He is. We often compare them to Gary Buckland of the past, but genuinely, Brenton O'Brien has been uber consistent. I just wanted to shout it out because we haven't really shouted it out this season. He has been at his best for a while, and he's been very, very sneaky, and it's good to see. And that's all he's got to keep on doing.
Consistency breeds champions.
That's right. That's right.
If you're consistent and all sorts of stuff, well, you're going to come out on top at the end of the day. So it's really, really good. Field sort of spreading out a little bit, although we are still having a few challenges here and there throughout the field. And one of the closest ones is we've just been watching this one here between Viger and Brenton O'Brien. Next one down there is Haynes and Taylor. They're fairly close to each other back further in the pack in 22nd and 23rd. So Ziggly's coming under a fair bit of pressure at the moment from 2 cars behind him.
Oh, I did not mean to click on that. I wanted to keep it on Zeal. But in saying that, where is Damon Fisher gone?
Oh, no! Our race leader has...
I think he's disappeared. I think he's disappeared out of existence.
Oh.
I have a feeling that someone may have caught him with a line and maybe just reeled him in.
Oh.
Honestly, Brett, I feel bad.
Yeah, no, I do too. Look, unfortunately, and I do know what happened to him. Unfortunately, he had a PC failure, a PC crash, and I'm actually gutted for him because I thought he was in for a good chance for at least a top 5 tonight. Could have even been better, and I would have loved to have seen how that played out. So my heart goes out to me, bro. Unfortunately, not being able to complete the race because it was a PC failure. But he was having a cracker. He was up there, and he was, I was really wanting to see how he's going to fare out there.
Oh, Adrian Zeal and Hyde's now on the back of Mulford as well. So Zippy's got some pressure here and behind from Haynes. Scholes has got a bit of pressure here from Reese DeGoey and Andrew Hoffman, and then we mentioned it, Tim Mulford and Ricky Hyde. I mean, look at this pressure.
Look at Hyde.
Look at the pressure.
He really wants this.
He does. He really does.
Oh, look at this great contesting. Looking up on the inside, decides to back out. So he's trying to get a good run. He's trying to get the car in there nice and cleanly, and then he'll try and make that happen. But he's really trying. He's putting the pressure on.
Scotty Gamble with the
coming down the straight there.
Scotty Gamble with a good chirp in the chat. I don't go fishing, Scotty, so I can't think of too many puns for fishing, but I'm glad that you're there. We could say that Damon maybe hit a snag, and that's why he dropped out of the waters. So We are really fishing for jokes at this point.
Oh, we are. You really reeled that in. Skulls looks like DeGoey just got past. I think DeGoey just got past. Yeah, look, we're very tight through here. Hoffman having a bit of a poke on the inside there as well. So this pack's really compressed in a few corners. I wonder whether someone's made a bit of an error and it's compressed the field. But these guys now from DeGoey, Skulls, Hoffman and Blanchard showing a great little challenge here. Hyde still challenging up the front too.
I don't know. I mean, Ricky's hungry to get past. He's often quite hungry to make overtakes.
Big move on the outside.
And
Tim
playing the smart game there, but Ricky is Ricky has done that to almost perfection. So I thought Tim then was going to do the best defensive acumen you can do to that corner. You park it pretty much on the right-hand side of the road, and then you brake a bit heavier mid-corner, and it stops the over-under. But I think Ricky then just kind of forced the door open and started to move on through before he realised he couldn't get by Tim, so he's had to back out of it for now.
It's really interesting to watch this challenge though too, and as much as the other challenges throughout the race, that you can see Ricky just backing off there in certain sections of the track and then gathering up a bit of speed to try and close in on Tim and try and put the car. But he's not just sending the car and then hoping for the best.
He's trying to place it. He's not trying to. Yeah. He's not trying to send it past the other car. He's trying to place it in the position that he wants it, and that's. Again, we've spoken about being calculated and picking where you want to move. And sometimes drivers can get, and I've done it before, a lot of drivers have done it before, where they get a bit overzealous and they go for a pass and they're not trying to place the car where they want it, they're just going for it. Yep. They're trying to drive through. Yeah. You can't just drive through. You've got to pick where am I going to place it on this move? Where am I going to place this car so I can actually get past the car in front of me? And that's one of the more difficult strategies you can learn, especially in touring car racing at tracks like Winton, where you've got to place it at a millimetre worth of perfection.
And I must say, that's what I love about racing myself. You know, like if I've got a good battle going on with someone in front or behind me, I do like to take that slightly different line, you know, and just trying to get any advantage and things like that. And that's the game that I like. Well, it is a game that I like to play with myself and the driver in front and behind, just to try and see where I can get a bit faster and play, like you say, place the car in a position so there's going to be you know, an advantage coming out of the corner. Get on the gas fraction earlier, see what that does. And sometimes it takes a few laps to sort of figure it out where you are stronger. And Ricky Hyde again tries to sneak up the inside. He's got the car a fair way up, but he's stuck on the outside. Ooh, a little bit of a door tap there.
That was a bit of wheel spin from Mulford.
He's trying to keep the car on the inside, but no, he's had to back out.
Tim is wrestling.
Trying everything.
He is, and Tim is
trying everything.
I mean, you saw then. He got the wheel spin off 7, but he's just wrestling this thing to keep it in the defensive position. And what it's doing is it's not only holding up Ricky, but it's starting to push them both back into the clutches of Brian Minogue, chasing them down, as well as Sean Vandermeulen as well. So eventually Tim may need to play the smart game, let Ricky pass, tuck onto the back of him and let you pull you along for a couple laps, just to break away from those two encroaching cars of Minogue and Vandermeulen in behind. We'll take this opportunity just to quickly have a look back further in the field. We were keeping an eye on Simon Haynes and Adrian Zeal. These guys are still a line astern at the moment. Just up ahead of them, Halil Cesar, just ahead of yourself here, Brett. So this battle started to heat up a little bit the last few laps. Further back in the field, Randall has finally gotten past Jeremy Bush as well. To give you an update on Jim Caperonis, he's still yet to come in for that first compulsory pit stop. Now, he's taken a pit stop in this race. We mentioned it. He pit on lap 1 as Andrew Rushworth is going, I think he was going side by side with Muggleton, but Muggleton's managed to get past. So Jim pitted on lap 1. He now, he still needs to do 2 stops, but the benefit is they're going to be 2 small stops because he took fuel on that first stop on lap 1. Yeah. So he's got to do 2 CPSs. So right now he is driving to get as far up the field as he can, and he is hoping and praying that there is no safety cars in this race. Yeah. If there is a safety car at least once, it is going to kill this run from Jim Caperonis, and he's going to end up right at the back of the field. Unless he gets that first CPS in before the second ones start to come in for other drivers.
I'll tell you what, Minogue is now into that fight up the front there too, so that's closed in within half a second. Hyde's still in only 0.2 of a second behind Mulford, so that battle is really starting to close, and even Vandermeulen now is starting to buy into this action as well.
You can see as well.
O'Brien, yeah, and O'Brien getting close to Rick Viger as well. Now, Rick Viger's up 14 spots at the moment for Angry Birds Racing. He's having a good one at this stage.
Yeah, he is.
He's been pretty happy so far.
Maybe a front runner for one of our driver of the day options tonight.
And who you're talking about before too, Brent O'Brien up 11 spots for Evolution Racing. So he's having another cracker. He's continuing to have a cracker, sorry.
Yeah, he might be one to keep an eye on too now as well. We've got to think about who's ineligible. So, Caperonis, Harland, Rushworth, I think Minogue, and De Goey, and there's one more. I think it's either Muggleton or Vandermeulen possibly, who've gotten Driver of the Day awards thus far this season. So we got to think about who's eligible and who's ineligible, and then shuffle them out from there.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I'll leave you to make sure that's all done.
If Mulford doesn't take the win, he may be one that we now look at as maybe an option as well, because he's had a very strong race at the front. This has been one of his strongest races of the season. If he doesn't win, then we maybe look at that as an option, because of course we can't give it to the race winner. So that might be our option as well going forward. We'll have to wait and see. Lanyon's
in. He's up 5
in.
spots at the moment. Yeah, he's up 5 spots. Up 5 spots at the moment. And Brian Minogue, he's up 7 spots for SLS as well. So that's up the pointing end of the field at this stage. But yeah, no, well done to those guys.
So we are getting into the halfway point of our race here this evening as well, and we've had no safety cars up to this point, so we're going to take this opportunity to give thanks to our title sponsors, Racecraft Simulations, by taking a scheduled ad break. If you live in the WA area, head over to 16 Grogan Road, Perth Airport, visit John and the team at Racecraft Simulations and have a chat to them. Test out some of the rigs they've got on the floor. If you've got a bit of spare coin, maybe even buy one for yourself as well. And if you've somehow got the cash, maybe even invest in that PT1. You can also order them straight to your door Australia-wide, and keep an eye out for different deals they may be having running soon, especially after they've made their deal with Sim Rigs down here in Victoria. There could be more and more opportunities to go racing with Racecraft going forward. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back very, very soon with more Split 2 action of Round 6 of Season 23 of the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans. But for now, thank you to Racecraft. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Racecraft Simulations V8 Veterans Split 2 action of Round 6 at Winton Motor Raceway for Season 23 here this evening. A big thank you has to go out to Racecraft Simulations, the title sponsors. I'll mention that address again, 16 Grogan Road, Perth Airport, if you're in the WA area. Go have a chat to John and the team, check out some of the rigs they have on the floor, test some of them out. As I said, if you've got some spare coin, maybe even buy a rig yourself, or if you've got a bit of extra spare coin, maybe even buy the PT1. It looks to be an absolute beast. If you want to see more of the PT1 or you've never seen it before, stick around to the end, as the last ad that we play at the very end of the show is the walkthrough of the PT1 itself. And I've seen that thing for season upon season at the end of the show, and it just looks as good as ever. So be sure to stick around and check that out as well. We also want to give a shout out to the other series sponsors, as well as Logitech G has been a long-time partner of the V8 Veterans, as well as Nova Sim Sports, Parramatta Isuzu Ute, Sudspeed Gloves, Player One Sim Gear, LGC Images, and Chubby Buns Burgers Driver of the Day Award 2. We'll be thinking about that as this race goes on. We've got about 30 laps left, so we've got plenty of time for us to think about when and who we want to put that forward to here tonight for the chat to vote on as well. And if you're fresh here with us on the V8 Veterans channel or the Infinity Broadcasting channel, be sure to hit the like button, the subscribe, the bell icon as well to help support not only us as broadcasters but also the league too. If you could subscribe to both, it'd be much appreciated, as subscribing to the Vets channel helps support the Vets channel, and subscribing to the Infinity Broadcasting channel helps support me and my adventures of sim racing broadcasting. You know, I would so appreciate your support, as racing is still happening here, Brett. Lap 37 of 67, Mulford High to Minogue, continuing on.
It's heating up.
It is heating up. It feels like we've gone from sort of maybe a soft little simmer, and we're getting towards a rolling boil at this point, and we're getting towards pit stops.
Someone's turned the gas up.
Oh, they have.
Someone's turned the gas up, yeah. And I wonder whether Racecraft Simulations actually send out samples. I wouldn't mind a sample of that PT1 for a bit. You know, that'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they'll send you a shaving of the filing if you like. That's about all they can afford to send out for free.
That's probably right. But we're back at Winton. So 37 laps of 67 laps have been completed here at Winton. The great racing at the moment. We've got some packs just bubbling away, just sort of brewing as we have had previously. So at the moment we've got Ricky Hyde still chasing down Tim Mulford on the back of Hal Cesar at the moment, and then further down the pack we've got Dave Arney on the back of Mick Clifton and Hoffman. So a few little battles here throughout this pack, and there's sure to be some fantastic racing coming in the second part of this race.
Oh, there's bound to be a lot of exciting racing here to come your way as well. Brian Minogue's in pit lane. It was a tight pit lane entry for him. SDK loves to...
Ricky Hyde, sorry, but I was just watching Ricky Hyde. He flashed in front of him for a second there, so that was a great little challenge. So he is really ramping it up now. Sorry to butt in there, Hamish, but I just seen it on the timing monitor that Ricky was up beside Tim there, so he really wants to get past him if he can.
Yeah, he is pushing to get this done. I mean,
Minogue in pits.
Yeah, Minogue's in, so maybe trying to undercut a little bit here, but look at the pressure from Hyde. I didn't realise there was a deep tissue massage parlour in the coast of Queensland that Ricky Hyde has started working at, because right now he's finding all the knots in the back of Tim Mulford at the moment, and he's trying to pop them all away.
Sorry, I was probably using a bit too expletive descriptions, but oh, look at that go. There was a touch there.
Oh, he's pushing him along.
Yeah, he's pushing him along. So he's really trying to unsettle him here. He's going a bit of a look on the outside. I don't know whether that's going to come to anything, but he's going to have a look at the under over. No, it's really well protected. And it's a really tough section of track.
Look who's lurking in as well. We mentioned someone's turned the gas up. Well, it's the Dutch plumber himself, Sean Vandermeer, and he'll start to put the pressure on Ricky Hyde and Tim Mulford.
He's got a good run on him there too.
He does.
Ricky's going to have to watch the mirror a little bit, but he's wow, this is starting to ramp up big time. So Vandermeer coming into the mix here.
I wonder if Ricky maybe pits to try and avoid a battle here with Vandermeer, and because he's been stuck behind Mulford now for quite a few laps, so Ricky may try and get this undercut done to not only get out of being stuck behind Mulford, but to avoid battling with Vandermeulen here.
Yeah, I mean, so what have we got? 28 laps still to go. I mean, is that a little bit long on tyres? I don't know. But like you're saying, he probably needs to start and look about releasing himself. Unless he can force Mulford into a bit of an error, and I think that's probably what he's trying to do, because it is. I mean, they've been lapping lap after lap, nose to tail like this, so you know, like it's got to be taking some toll on the car.
I mean, think about how hot and worn the tyres on both, not only Ricky's car is for having to attack, but the tyres on Mulford's car to defend. He's straight in.
There we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So he's decided to release.
Yeah.
So Burns and Tiger on the back of Blanchard now closing up as well. And we've got myself on the back of Caesar and Haynes.
As well as Brian Minogue on the back of Matt Muggleton as well. So some of these battles are really starting to form for us now. Ricky Hyde is just got it into the pit box. As Rick Viger is into pit lane, although he's taken it off track on the entry, so he's running a bit deep. We'll see where Ricky ends up, because we want to compare him to Brian Minogue. So where's Minogue at the moment? There he is there.
I'll keep an eye on his pit.
He's coming out now. This is going to be close. This is going to be close with Ricky Hyde. Actually, it's not even that close. He's at the very end. So Minogue's been held up there by Muggleton and co. He got caught up in the battle. Now, he took a slightly longer stop than what Hyde did. Hyde's was a 23.6. Muggleton's a 27.85. So about 4 seconds he gave up on that stop.
Be interesting to see when Mulford comes in. To see what his pit stop is time-wise, so to see how much fuel he needs to add.
Yeah, I think for Vandermeulen and Mulford, they're going to be in a very similar pit stop strategy here. It's 25.44 from Mulford last time, 26.29 from Vandermeulen on the last stop. So we'll see how this plays out. And when they decide to come in, now we're getting closer and closer to the end of the fuel strategy for a lot of drivers. A lot of those drivers who would have taken roughly 60.5 litres, that's only going to get them around about lap 43, maybe to lap 45. It is, you know, now it's crunch time for them. If I look at some of the longest stops in this field, Lovegrove 37.23, Randall 35.6. So both of those guys probably taking roughly 85 litres. That would get them to about lap 54.
And Simon Haynes, he's taken 36.45.
Yeah, so he's also on a longer stint. It's whether he goes long now or he comes in a bit earlier, maybe to undercut yourself and Halil at some point.
Yeah. This was a great battle between himself and Halil. It was a great battle.
And this is one of the things that I not only love racing at Winton. I love watching racing here because this circuit is a strategy-heavy circuit. If your strategy is going to play out, and if your dice roll is going to play out as well as Rushworth is in, and through all this I've missed Jim Caperonis coming in for his first stop of the race. So
yeah, Rushworth in pit lane as well.
Yeah, so Rushy is in. Where is Jim? There he is there. Lap 34 was his first CPS. So he's come in for his first CPS when he would have normally probably taken his second. And at some point he's going to have to realise, oh shit, I actually need one more.
I wonder whether at this point he has realised and just unfortunately can't really rectify his error and just rolling with the punches as it's going on.
So Rushworth in. We'll see how this pans out for him throughout. Lovegrove's also into pit lane, so an early stop for Lovegrove. He could have gone long, but he's opted to come in early. Interesting call from him.
I didn't say was he being held up or anything like that, and he just wants to release himself?
I don't know. I think maybe he's just trying to stick to a regular lap strategy, possibly of maybe equalising the tyres more so. Because he's got, 25 laps to the end, so 25 is probably a good round number the issue I would see for him is, wouldn't he be better having the shorter run of tyres at the end where he doesn't burn them as quickly?
It depends on Mulford's in, so here we go.
He
Let's
is.
watch this, where he's going to fall with his pit stop.
Yeah, so Vandermeulen gets released. There's Mulford. In comparison to Ricky Hyde, he is coming around turn 9. So this is going to be a big send from Ricky Hyde to get it past Tim Mulford. If Mulford comes out ahead of him, he is going to be kicking himself.
Yeah. 10 seconds.
I'd answer the question for you, Dane. Off you pit on lap 35.
15 seconds.
Yep, he's still there. He's going to have at least another 5 seconds.
20 seconds.
Here comes Hyde. He's going to get him by a lot.
Yeah, 26:10. So
Yeah.
3 seconds.
So even he had about a 3 second shorter stop to Ricky Hyde. The long stop on the first stop paid off for him because he came in directly behind Mulford and he's come out a good 5.7 seconds ahead. So pitting a couple laps early, getting into clean air, pushing on, compounded with his longer stop earlier, that's given him a nice short fill to the end, and he's been able to power on through. And now, next on his hit list is 9.5 Sim Sports' Sean Vandermeulen in P1, who's into pit lane.
Into pit lane. And I'll tell you what, coming out after knowing that Tim Mulford's pitted, and coming out in front of me, it would be just a big pressure release, knowing that he's actually played the game well, and now he's got some clear track in front of him, and he's got a bit of distance behind him. So he'd be saying, right, I don't want to see a safety car. I just want to, and I don't want to see any blue flags or anything like that. I just want to see clear track and punch away the laps now to try and close this. We're at lap 44 of 67.
So Hyde
Harland
is
and
coming.
Blanchard in pit.
Hyde's coming down towards the final corner. Vandermeulen had a very similar first pit stop to Mulford, remember. So I reckon he's going to get Vandermeulen as well. I think he gets him here because Vandermeulen is still stopped. Is Mulford also going to get him? Watch for Vandermeulen on the exit. There he is there. Mulford gets him.
Well,
and there's Muggleton as well.
Yeah, so that brings him close out to the back of Mulford. So that was a fairly even stop between those two guys.
And now Rushworth and Minogue battling hard as well. So Rushy actually went for the move as they were approaching turn 1. Got it up the inside of Minogue in a great one. And now he's got to try and chase down Muggleton. So pressure's on because Hyde is now the provisional leader of the race with Mulford P2, Vandermeulen P3, Muggleton and Rushworth for your top 5. And I believe out of the 5 of them, Mulford may be the only one who's eligible for a Driver of the Day award at the moment. I think he might be. As Breton's in. Sean, who I know was watching, may need to remind me if he's actually won this season or not. I can't remember if he's won a Driver of the Day award or not. I know the others have. And the fact that Ricky would be winning would make him null. Breton O'Brien is in. Brett Fisher is going to lead a lap. Talk us around this lap, Brett. Talk us around this lap as you lead.
Oh, look, we punch it down here as hard as we can. Get on the brakes, run down to about 3rd gear, try and get it over the left hand, pop that curb there, pop that one there, come out nicely, left-hand tyres between the 2 ripple strips there. Get back down, I think, to 3rd. I can't remember. It doesn't really matter. We go through there as cleanly as possible. Try and take a little bit of the right-hand curb. And then same again, you pinch a little bit of the track here. I didn't pinch it much that time around. Squeeze the accelerator, run it up to about 4th gear. And try and float the car through here. Hop that curb, try and hop this curb a little bit, and then down hard on the brakes, down 2 gears to 2nd gear. I've run a bit wide there. As I was saying before, I was finding a lot of framing and stuttering going through this section of the track, so I found it a bit difficult. Still floating the car, I ran a little bit wide there too, but I was trying to sort of tuck really close to that corner there, up to 4th gear, and back down to 3rd gear, trying to sort of come across that curb there a little bit, run the car out wide and punch it down the straight here.
Snap a picture as well, Brett, of this car in P1.
Oh no, have a look. Quick, take a photo, send it to them, the fans. And here I am in pit lane. Well done, me.
You know what,
Go
though?
me.
Extra point. You led a lap.
I know, that's what I thought too. I thought, I'll have the extra point. Thank you very much.
Why not? We should have red flagged the race now. Just stop the count. Sean has also confirmed for us as well he has not won a Driver of the Day award yet this season, but he is down one spot. So do we think that grants him nomination just yet? Well, we'll see how he ends up. Still 20 laps to go. Plenty of time for us to come to a decision on who we nominate. But Sean is eligible.
Definitely, we'll figure it out. Someone will help us along the way.
As well, important.
Scotty Weston in pit lane. Sorry,
he is
Scotty
as well.
Weston in pit lane.
Speaking of pits, Caperonis has taken now his second compulsory pit stop on lap 44, so he is now eligible for a race position in this race. He is no longer on wood of getting disqualified.
Thank goodness for that, Jim.
Yep. Good job, Jim.
That would have been heartbreaking. Yep. Keep your head up too, Jim. You know, like you're still quick. You're still having a great series. Just need to consolidate. Let's see you sort of let's see you back up the top in the next in the closing 4 races. That would be fantastic.
There's a new award for you, the Brett of the Day. It's between you and Brett Taylor, Brett. Maybe we need to keep a tally of that.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, well, why not, eh?
Keep a tally of the Bretts out there. Van der Meulen at the moment racing nice and clean. Closest battle on track right now is Steve Lanyon, Brenton O'Brien, Mikey Harlan and Mick Clifton as well. So these guys are battling hard.
Rick Viger on the back of Scholes. Myself about a second behind there, and Harl Cesar behind him. I must say, I had a fantastic battle with Rick on this closing laps too. That was a fantastic battle with both Harl Cesar and Rick Viger. That was fantastic. Barella in pit lane.
He is indeed in pit lane. These guys are approaching a little bit of lap traffic here, it seems, as well. Further back, where have you ended up, Brett? You've ended up back with Rick Viger.
Yep.
Yeah, Matt
I was happy with that.
Scholes.
As it's starting 27th, coming out currently at the moment in 19th. I was pretty happy with that position at this stage. I was really right with that. And this is, as I say, this was a fantastic battle through the closing stages of this race. But just back up the front, we don't have to go up the front, but Ricky's still got about three seconds or so over Tim Mulford. Sean Van der Meulen, he's got just over 2 seconds to Mulford. Mr. Rushworth is about 3.5 seconds behind him. Brian Minogue got that right for Australian change. He's about 1.5 seconds. Then Muggleton about 1.5. So the top end of the field is starting to spread out a bit. So, I mean, look, ideally for those drivers, not for us commentating, but for those drivers there, they would be, probably a little bit relieved that they're not under pressure from anyone behind. Obviously they want to get up and race the guy in front of them, but, you are where you are, so the pressure's off. You haven't got someone to chase you. You don't have to defend. All you need to do now is concentrate on what's in front of you and try and punch the laps away. See if you can actually close the gap from the guy in front of you. Not impossible. 2 or 3 seconds, not impossible. Just got to make it really, really clean.
Yeah, so can he get this move done at this point? Can Rick Viger get past Matt Scholes? Interesting that Matty's ended up this far down. He was running quite well for a period. Had a relatively regular stop on the last stop.
Yeah, so he's down 6 spots at the moment. Rick's up 6 spots. I'm up 8 spots, and Hale says it's up 3. So there's some winners and losers in that little battle pack. So Matty Scholes, he'd be wanting to try and make sure he consolidates that position. So he's going to fight to the end. And Rick Viger was obviously going to want to get past him as well. So, yeah, good battle brewing.
There is a good battle brewing. And that other battle up the front has just started to peter out as well. Lanyon with Harlan continue their fight. O'Brien hot on their heels as well. This may be one to keep an eye on, Brett, because these guys have got good pace.
Yeah,
they can both be aggressive at the best of times, but that can often lead to some good racing. We've seen it before with aggressive drivers. Aggressive and clean can lead to some phenomenal battles.
Hoppy's just said Scholes looped it on the exit of number 3, so that's why he's yeah.
Thank you, Hoffy. Appreciate it. That would explain why he's down 6.
Yeah.
You know what? Now that I think about it, I remember it as well. I remember that happening yesterday. I just didn't think about it.
Haynes and DeGoey and Hoffman, a good little battle there.
Yep, so of the 33 cars that started tonight, we've only had 2 dropouts thus far. 31 drivers still remaining down to Lorne Mackay at the bottom of the timing tower at this stage. So Harland and Lanyon, well, I mean, these guys are, they are too hot under the collar, man. This is giving real vibes now. If they were to battle week in and week out, this is giving real vibes of Murphy and Ambrose. And of course, Harland would be Murphy because he's a Kiwi.
I just hope we don't see him get out of the cars and try and punch on.
I hope
that
so.
Could be entertaining though too.
Well, that would. Can you imagine if they introduced that in the season 3 update of iRacing this year? You can get out of the car and have a punch on with people.
Yeah, that's it.
Make it more realistic.
Left button, right button, left button, right button.
I'd say you lick the stamps, Mikey, but again, you've got to be calculated. You've got to figure out the exact margins of where you place the stamps on the letter. There's no point licking it and then just flicking it. You've got to, especially with this track, you've really got to be calculated and try and figure out when the best opportunity is, and watch how the driver ahead of you is approaching and attacking these corners as well.
I'll be just saying that his tyres will be beginning to die.
Well, I suppose that's the risky game you play coming in on lap 35. Trying to go 30 laps on a set of tyres at Winton is it's no easy feat. It is a tough task, I must say. I think Mikey's misinterpreted what I'm saying, and now I'm worried about what's going to happen.
Oh well, you say it, you spray it.
Well, I said
you put it out in the world.
I said
Don't
do it, and he hasn't heard the words "don't do it." Apparently, I think he's just heard the words "lick it" and "flick it." So
yeah, selective hearing.
Selective hearing. Yeah. O'Brien wants to pick up some pieces for sure. He's trying to fight his way forward. Honestly, I think for me personally, Brenton and Tim Mulford are my front runners at the moment. They are driving a spectacular race thus far. This is the best race we've seen from Tim all season. And Brenton is just lurking so well. If he can get this car inside the top 10, he could be on for something special.
Other battle packs, Hoffman is under pressure from DeGoey and Haynes, and that has been going off the last few laps as well. So that's a fairly contested sort of little pack there as well. And Cesar, myself, and Viger still having a great battle. So there's probably about 3 or 4 battle packs within this field at the moment. Even further down, we've got Barella, Weston, and Bush having a close little battle there. So we've got probably about 3 or 4 battle packs in this race at this stage. And I mean, lap 51 of 67, lap 52 67. So we're starting to get to the closing stages. And as Hoffy just said in the comments before, his tyres were starting to wear. So I wonder whether, how many people there were suffering a bit of tyre deg. Well, Lanyon, who was trying to maintain it.
Lanyon would have tyre deg at the moment. Lap 32 he pitted. Randall hasn't come in for his second stop yet since lap 19, so he's been into it as well. So you then think of Muggleton and Minogue, they were within the 30s as well. As we can see the pressure that's being applied from Harland at the moment. And Lanyon, he's going to go for it.
Oh,
down at 3, big dive, clips the curb. There's a bit of contact as well. Oh, and Lanyon sped off, and off goes O'Brien. Was there contact between them? Down at 3 and 4. He went for the lunge, got the curb, and it just unsettled it and caused the contact, unfortunately. A tough pill to swallow, and unfortunately, I think based on, I don't know, that's such a tough call. RC's going to be looking at it, but there may be an asterisk now on Mikey Harland in P10, because you'd have to wonder that would have been called in for sure, whether it was by Lanyon or by O'Brien.
And that's compressed the field again too.
It has.
So people are going to be, a bit edgy knowing the car's probably got a couple of hot tyres here and there, so they're going to be looking for mistakes and trying to capitalise on those as they come out of turn. So the next couple of laps until they sort of get themselves settled down again, that'll be something that I'd be looking for.
He tried to go for it, and I think just unfortunately that we kind of saw how the car reacted there, Brett. It bounced off the curb, and if he hadn't bounced off the curb, he likely would have actually made it around the corner. So I think unfortunately, because it's gone off that curb, we've seen that incident before. It may not look favourably to him, but we'll see. We'll see.
Comments, the chat's just popping off at the moment, so I was just watching that, so keeping an eye on that. So yeah, I mean, look, it is what it is, and I mean, that's racing. We get out here to go forward and battle away, and things happen. Sometimes it doesn't go our way, sometimes it does. Sometimes things happen that are a little bit out of our control. But this field is really compressed now. So Haynes having a good look on the back of DeGoey, and then Paul Burns on the back of Haynes. So this field is we're starting to sort of heat up again. Like we talked about it for a couple of races ago, that the pressure cooker has been turned up again, and as we start to wind down these laps. So, and I know in the last few laps you start and go, righto, well, if there's any time to make a move, I need to start and build and lift now. So I'm sure these guys are going to want to do it. See Randall coming into pit lane for his final pit stop.
Yeah, this is the last stopper in the race. So Randall is in. I think I just saw Mikey Harland is in. So this might be a drive-through for that moment.
Yeah, could very well be. Just looking through, it was actually a penalty.
Yeah.
So I'm just looking at a cheat sheet. So he has copped a penalty for that incident.
Yeah.
So he'd be spitting chips.
I'm sure he will be. To give an update on where Breton is, he's P14. So I would argue Breton's not out of our Driver of the Day nomination just yet. He still could be on for this, I think. I mean, a top 15. We've given it to drivers inside the top 15 before. If he can get a nice clean run to the end, he could be on for this. Same thing for maybe Hoffy as well. He's had a recovery drive. Mick Clifton up 11. And then I think maybe Mulford could be the other pick at this point. All those guys
I'm doing pretty good too, up 11.
You've done well, Brett. You have done well.
It hasn't been an outstanding race. I mean, I give you that. Yeah.
Jim, you've had great pace. It's I'm sorry for what happened on lap 1. I know that Shane came and apologised to you post-race as well. It's not how we want to go racing, and hopefully a bit of better luck next week at Mosport, and you can get back into winning ways. We'll see how that pans out for you as well. It is, but this racing is not over just yet. We've still got a chance. We've still got a chance at a safety car here, Brett. 12 laps to go, roughly. Still a chance for a safety car, even though the field's a bit spread out. There are some close packs, and anyone can blow their engine at any time.
Well, that is it. Look, nothing is for certain until it's all done and dusted. But we have a look at, like, Hyde has actually pulled out that gap on Mulford, so it's now 4.5 seconds. So he's got a good, clean, clear, decisive gap there that, Ricky would be really happy with. He's extended his lead, so he'd be pretty happy with where he's situated thus far with about 12 laps to go. Tim Mulford, on the other hand, he's starting to come under fire from Sean Vandermeer, and he's only about 1.2 seconds behind him. So that gap has closed up over the last not few laps, but over the last, many laps since our pit stop, because it was around about 3.5 seconds. So he's fought away, like I was saying earlier, that he's just ticked away, just slowly eating at that time, and he's got it well within, reach now of hopefully closing the last, 10 to 12 laps. Rushworth is still maintaining about a 4-second gap, so he's slowly falling off there.
Is Rushy... Rushy's also been quite sneaky this season. I'm very impressed at the acumen of Andrew Rushworth. He has improved over the last sort of 2 or 3 iRacing seasons immensely. This is a guy that in previous years, has been, at least from what I've seen, known. He used to crack under pressure quite a lot. but he's gone
been a bit
away.
of a silent assassin.
He's silently achieved to not only help himself deal with pressure better, but he's found that little X factor of getting pace and staying clean.
Yeah.
Yes, he's had a little bit of bad luck here or there, but for the majority of the season, Andrew Rushworth has been one of the best drivers we've seen on the road thus far.
Very good. Yep.
And I think if he doesn't go up to split 1 this season for whatever reason, so if he doesn't make it the top 5 or the top 3, whatever it is, the more seasons that he gets in split 2, Brett, the more dangerous he's going to become. He is going to be a proper contender. Give it a season or 2, similar maybe to Vandermeulen or maybe even a Ricky Hyde or a Caparonis or a Muggleton. Give him a season or 2 and he's going to switch on like a light bulb. He is going to find whatever it is he needs to really get that extra 10th or 2 tenths off his lap times to be fighting up there every single week.
Well, the other thing to look at too, Hamish, is that, you know, he did put it on pole. So, tick, you know, like he's punched it out there. Unfortunately, he got a bad start, you know, and you know, like it happens, you know, and all sorts of stuff. But the thing is to consolidate, and he's done that at this stage. In 4th spot, he's actually just kept his head. He's kept his head in the game. He's looked forward, and he's just doing what he's got to do. So he, you know, we talked about those 1%ers earlier in the race, you know. So he has minimised his mistakes. He's made a mistake at the start, but he has minimised his mistake throughout this race to get himself a decent finish. Thus far, you know, with 10 laps to go. He's put himself in a good position. So 100% everything you say, and kudos to him for having a great race.
See as well, Andrew Hoffman having a very good race as well. And this has been a season of 2 halves for Hoffy, hasn't it? First half of the season was and he'll even admit this, it was a binnet first half of the season. He was down on his luck, kept on getting in incidents, really, really against himself and not wanting to race. And over the last sort of 2 weeks or so, it hasn't always gone his way necessarily. Like he started on the front row last week, didn't finish there, but he's had positive races, somewhat positive races. And tonight, this has probably been one of his more positive races of the season. Staying where he started, still racing in the 10, showing good pace. And I think
this is a race Hoffy needed.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not going to do him any favours of helping him battle towards the top 5 of the championship. That's probably long gone at this point. But it's helping him get into a more confident position in driving and using now the next few races as building blocks to a foundation of a championship season that he could put on next season. And it's finding
his confidence back.
Exactly. But putting, you know, it's not just your physiology that needs to be on point and your racecraft, it's your psychology as well. You've got to get your psychology right when approaching not only a race weekend but a season, because that's going to make or break your season from the get-go. And it can break it very, very quickly if it's off by just a little bit.
Yeah, and look, he's still under pressure here from DeGoey and Haynes, you know, and Burns not that far behind, so he'll be sort of wanting to. He'll be knowing that I'm in a good position at this stage. I want to just finish this race. I'm happy with it thus far. Let's get through to the end of the race. But also knowing the fact that he's got that pressure coming from behind, so you know it's got to be a good confidence booster for him. The other thing I was going to say, Rushworth, has he had a driver of the day?
Yeah, he won it last week. He won it last week.
Oh, he did too, didn't he? Yeah, that's right. That's how short my memory is. Because I was going to say, unfortunately he has won it because I would even, opposed to, even though he has gone backwards, but like I said before, because he's actually sustained himself and really just gathered himself, I'd even almost, give him a good driver of the day as well. But, it's probably not justified, but, just the way I think. Bit weird.
So if we look within the top 10 drivers we can nominate, Mulford, Vandermeulen, Clifton, Hoffman, Haynes, I think are the only 5. I think the others are either winning the race or they've won driver of the day. I think Matt's won it this season. I'm pretty sure Matt's won it this season. Outside of the 10, the drivers I'm looking at the moment is probably Brett and O'Brien. Maybe yourself, Brett, if you get into the top 15. Paul Burns has had a good amount of positions gained, but I would normally expect him to race around here. I just think he maybe wasn't up to qualifying pace tonight. So that might be maybe a little bit of a scratch against that name possibly, but there's a lot of names in it that we can put forward in a couple of laps time. But I think for me personally, my front running 4 is probably Mulford, Clifton, Hoffman and O'Brien. They're probably my front running 4 at the moment.
Yep, 100%.
So they are all turning it on at this point of the race, and Hoffy is feeling the pressure from De Goey, Simon Haynes, Paul Burns and Steve Lanyon. This is the battle for P8, but a couple of top 10 spots on the line. Burns would hope to sneak his way in, as would Steve Lanyon as well, who's a bit further back. They've got Lorne Mackay a lap down on them at the back end of the battle. He's separating Paul Burns and Steve Lanyon at the moment. As we continue to run our way forward.
Yeah, lap 50 of 57, so starting to get down to the pointy end now. There's probably only around about 2 or 3 battle packs going at the moment. Other than that, the field is starting to spread out. Van der Meulen is now closed within a second to Milford. So is he going to start and challenge him for second place? That'd be interesting. Ricky Hyde has managed to push that out to about 5.5 seconds now. So he's well and truly in control of this race at this stage.
So that's the gap between Mulford and Van der Meulen. Big championship implications tonight for Van der Meulen, as well as Hyde, as where he is, and for Caperonis back in P20. Currently...
Oh, a bit of fuel saving.
Bit of fuel saving from Mulford. He's having to save some fuel. Currently, on the road to the end of this round, if Caperonis finishes around where he is and Hyde wins the race, for the first time this season, Ricky Hyde will lead the championship and get the orange number next to his name. It has changed one time before. Well, technically twice, but it's changed one time before from Jim Caperonis to Trent Allen.
Saving.
It's a massive fuel save from Mulford. Massive fuel save.
Wow. For him to start, like we've got 6 laps to go. So it must be really line ball there for Mulford. So he's going to come under big pressure from Van der Meulen here shortly. I wonder whether can we go on to Van der Meulen's car and see if he's doing any fuel saving?
Well, I was going to say, if Mulford holds him off whilst fuel saving, this is now putting Tim's stock right up. Like, honestly, this isn't it. It's making the P2 even more impressive, because Tim, he may even be able to admit this as well, at least from what we've seen this season, he's been getting in some messy incidents, unfortunately. And I've seen better from Tim. And tonight, this is the Mulford that I expected when I saw that he signed up for Vets. This is the kind of performance I expected from Tim Mulford. And this is what I want to see from Tim Mulford for the rest of the season, because this guy, genuinely, if he can put a full season together like this, I have no doubts he could win Split 2. No doubts at all in my mind. He has got the ability. He's got a strong team around him in Phoenix Racing Team. Not many of them are old enough to join the Vets. I think Tim and Steve Vella may be the only ones who are actually eligible. Tim can correct me on that or not in the chat. But, I mean, the youngest member of their team is Rehan Leonage, to give you the sort of prowess that's in that team. So they are a strong team with up-and-coming drivers like Jack Andrews and Will Brown. They've got, Rehan, who does the driver training and setups, at only 15 or 16 years old. And then Laz, the data master, the data magician in the background, fronting up this team. So for Tim, he's got the pressure on his shoulders of being one of their representatives in a league that not many of them can actually race in. And I cannot hear Sean Van der Meulen fuel saving at this stage as well.
No, I was trying to keep a keen eye. What an idiot. A keen ear out for whether he's fuel saving or not, but no, I did not hear any fuel saving. I thought I probably heard maybe a couple of short shifts and things like that, but definitely no fuel saving. So, I mean, he might be doing his fuel saving in his own little way, but nowhere near to the extremes of Tim Mulford. So, Mulford really doing a great job holding him out there. So, maybe what he's trying to do is just get his fuel numbers into a position where he can then just push forward without any worries. And he's just been proactive in trying to get that to a number where he needs to be. So we see behind Hoffman still Reese De Goey and Haynes and Burns still having a challenge there. So Hoffman still managed to hold the guys out there. So he's doing a great job. Rick Viger up onto the back of Brenton O'Brien and myself, and Hale Cesar not that far behind him, and Brett Taylor. Also very close to Cesar, with spoils in there as well. So there's two and three very defined battle packs going on at the moment. But way out in front, old Hyde, 6.5 seconds. So he's punching away. Obviously, because Mulford double. Obviously, that was interesting. I must have had a brain seizure. But obviously, because that fuel saving is hurting him there. Van der Meulen 0.3 of a second behind Mulford now. So, yeah, Van der Meulen will be really looking to sort of try and do something, but it's such a hard track to pass on.
It's a very, very hard track to pass on as well. It is a tough race thus far for a lot of these drivers. Jim mentioning he's happy with coming 20th so far with 3 pit stops, and it's an incredible effort from Jim.
Yeah,
it's proving the pace that he has actually got. So we can't snuff out Jim going forward. He's still someone we're going to be watching with a keen eye every single week. He's still someone we're going to be watching to see if he gets in the 10 or up the front of the town, because he was so strong at the start of the season. And as always, Vets is a story of multiple narratives, and it's normally a story of 2 halves. It's one half of the season goes one way for one driver, the other half of the season normally goes one way for another driver, where at this point it almost looks to be a season of thirds. The first third was with Caperonis. The second third was really the Muggleton Van der Meulen show, and then now as we're sort of getting into the final chapter of season 23, is this now going to be the Ricky Hyde and Tim Mulford show? Are these guys now up there? Is it a Rushworth narrative that we're looking at? Is it a Minogue who's been tickling his way forward all season? Is it now time for Bretton O'Brien to sort of sniff at those podiums and those race wins as well? Is it the resurgence of Hoffy that could flip everything on its head and put a massive spanner in the works? Van der Meulen wanted to dive on Mulford, but he wasn't close enough to get it alongside. And the narratives will all be on display right here on the V8 Veterans and Infinity Broadcasting channels. And even though it's been a race of attrition and a race of strategy tonight, it hasn't been a safety car fest or a fest of... oh my God. It's been a race of defence, really. I mean, this is like, if you like watching international football, because it's a much more defensive prowess of football, then this is the kind of racing that you enjoy. If you like all-out attack, then you go and watch the Premier League or the Bundesliga. You don't, or you watch AFL if you want all-out attack. It's this is more or less, this is the mindfulness race of the season. This is your psychological make or break race of the season. If you can stay in this fight and stay up the front end of town, this is what can make or break how your mentality is going to be into the final couple of rounds, especially next week at Mosport, which is going to be hard enough to pass at. If it's dry, we sigh a bateful breath. If it's wet, well, we strap ourselves in for which would be one of the wildest races of the season. I'm still on the selling point that it should be Interlagos that gets rain. But if it's Mosport, which lurks with possible clouds in the skies, well, you better bring your umbrella and you better bring your boat, because you may need it to get it out of the infield, as Van der Meulen is hot on the heels of Mulford.
He's still not done here. And Ricky Hyde is obviously giving this field an absolute hiding at this stage. And showing that he's in force. I mean, he's made some good decisions. He's obviously put the car well out in front. I mean, Mulford's obviously fuel saving, but I mean, that just goes to show that Mulford had to put a strategy in place to try and, get him somewhere. But Hyde's just dominated this second half of this race hugely. And so he's done really well. Van der Meulen's still chasing him down, so don't discount him for the last couple of laps here. Another shout out I want to give to Simon Haynes, coming off a bit of a break. He's done well to get up into the top 10 at this stage, and he is up 10 spots. So that's nothing to be snoozed at as well.
That is an incredible effort from Simon. White flag lap for the race leader, Ricky Hyde, at the moment. He leads the way in this race, and he'll continue to push forward as Mulford has continued to be under pressure from Van der Meulen, who's dropped off the back of him just a little bit. So we'll see what sort of pressure is now going to be applied all throughout the rest of this race. There's not long to go for these drivers to continue this push. Someone asked if we could check for the 2 drops, well, funnily enough, I can do that right now. So if you bear with me, I'm doing a quick little Google Sheet thing for the top 15, just so I can at least read out the points of where everyone would sit. But, I mean, what a race it's been, and what a race it's been for Ricky Hyde, what a race it has been for a lot of these drivers in the field, for Mulford and Van der Meulen, and the prowess that they've shown all throughout this race, and the patience that they've shown as well. Van der Meulen is hot on the heels of Mulford, but we'll have to go back to that battle in a moment as we enter the final couple of corners now. For Ricky Hyde, it'll be his first win of the season, and the first win for 801 Sim Sports of season 23, as Ricky Hyde is the master, the wizard of Winton, as he masters the strategy call. Mulford just survives ahead of Van der Meulen on the podium. Rushworth home in an impressive P4, and Brian Minogue up 5 will make up the top 5 here this evening in an incredible effort. Muggleton home in P6. Clifton up 11 spots into P7 in one of the more impressive drives we have seen from him all season. It has been...
Hoffy's managed to actually keep the others at bay too, to finish in 8th spot at the moment. DeGoey in 9th, Simon Haynes in 10th, so that was a great finish from Simon Haynes. Paul Burns in 11th, Lanyard in 12th, Blanchard in 13th, O'Brien in 14th, Vigor in 15th, myself in 16th, Cesar in 17th, Brett Taylor in 18th, so I'm clearly the better Brett at this race.
Matt Stoyles 19th, and Jim Caperonis will lose the lead of the championship in P20 at this stage. Unofficially for double drop rounds. These are unofficial because all I've done is just take the 2 worst rounds of drivers.
So very unofficial, very unofficial at this stage.
Very,
but it gives
very
us
unofficial.
a bit of an oversight, bit of an overlook, and see what's going on, so we can sort of prepare our appetites for the closing stages of this series.
Oh, hang on, I missed someone. I didn't take 2 rounds off somebody. Oh, it was Jim. Okay, hang on.
Oh.
Oh,
so fantastic run here tonight at Winton. It was a great race. A lot of people, there was a few sad faces here and there, but overall, no safety cars, so we all got through unscathed. And it was a good race. I mean, there was a lot of battle packs up and down the field. There was some great racing. I mean, I'm sure that for those people who were in the server and on the racetrack, you'll all have your own stories on how everything proceeded to sort of fall out. I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but some of the people had a great race, and there was some great battling all the way up and down the field.
So we'll get some B-roll happening for you, and then we'll have a quick chat about some things in this race as well. Let's find someone good to select. Yeah, that'll do. Good enough. There we go. All right. Okay, so some of the things we can break down. So first of all, we have to put our Driver of the Day nominations forward. We only want to see these 4 names in the chat. I don't want to see anyone else. Only these guys. And whilst you guys nominate, we're going to quickly talk about championship standings unofficially after 2 drop rounds, and then we'll chat about, or chat to the podium finishers if they come to have a chat to us as well. Okay. So, Driver of the Day nominations. We only want to see these 4 names. We will only be accepting nominations from the chat after I've put this chat in. So only nominations below this chat will be accepted. Tim Mulford, Mick Clifton, Andrew Hoffman, and Bretton O'Brien. Get your nominations in now. The race winner, Ricky Hyde, is ineligible. Rushworth's ineligible. Minogue's ineligible. Muggleton, DeGoey, all ineligible, as they've previously won Driver of the Day awards this season. So, quickly first, before I run through unofficials, I have received a message from Sean Van der Meulen. He has asked me to read out a thank you list tonight. His internet's been dropping in and out. He did not followed it up with, in brackets, hanging out with the wife, so I just assume it's genuinely his internet is dropping in and out. He wanted to thank the guys at 95 Sim Sports, Racecraft Simulations, RSW Graphics, Track School, Track Days and Racing Years, us for the broadcast, admin and all the vets drivers to shop each week and make it what it is. Cheers. And thank you to Sean for sending that in. And for anyone listening to, get yourself a pen and paper, because we're going to unofficially tell you double drop round points. Now, if you want to find this out for yourself, all you got to do is open up an Excel or Google sheet, go to Sim Racer Hub for the Split 2 standings, then go to race by race standings and copy the whole thing. You just got to highlight the whole thing, copy it, paste it into an Excel or Google sheet, and then you need to get rid of a couple of columns, but you need to leave the PTS and P column, and then find on the PTS and delete the 2 lowest numbers on there, and then create a sum on the end of it. That'll then give you the automatic calculations. I'm not going to explain Sheets or Excel. You want to find out.
You lost me where you said click on here.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Fair enough. Otherwise, just watch this back over and over again. So, unofficially leading the championship after 2 drop rounds. Now, this is not going to dictate who has the orange number. We're going to dictate the orange number on the tower, as we always do, based on whoever is leading on the Sim Racer Hub data. Unofficially, after 2 drop rounds, taking his 2 drop rounds in the first 2 rounds of the season, Matt Muggleton is leading on 698 points. 2 points behind him in P2 is Ricky Hyde after his race win tonight. In P3, on 690 points, is Sean Vandermeulen of 95 Sim Sports. In P4, on 689 points, is Brian Minogue. In P5, on 687 points, is Jim Caparonis. And in P6 is Andrew Rushworth on 681 points. So, relatively speaking, and I did miss someone else as well. Yep, relatively speaking, that top 6 is who's in it. And they're the drivers who have been in it all season. They've been up the front all season. They've been in these battles all season. They are, currently at least, unofficially, the ones who are in this championship battle, Brett.
And it's close too.
It's very close.
It's really, really close. So no one's out of it at this point. You know, I mean, some people might be out of it, but in the top end of the field, no one's out of it. It's red hot to go.
I don't think we're underselling it when we say this is possibly the closest Split 2 season we've had for a long while. I do not think we are underselling
fantastic.
it.
Yeah. It's been fantastic.
Incredible.
The racing's been great. Yeah. I'm pumped. I'm pumped to see where the final races of the season go, because I think it's we talked about the pressure cooker before, and we'll talk about it again, but I think it's still ramping up the temperature.
It really is.
We'll have to go to some magical Kelvin number right up the top, or Scoville, isn't it? Scoville number, whatever it is, because it's boiling. It's going to boil over. And at the end of the series, we're gonna crown a champion. I'll tell you what, it's going to be well fought out.
It will indeed. It will be a hard-earned victory. And after calculating the names in the chat here tonight for the Chubby Buns Burgers Driver of the Day Award, I think for the first time since we've been giving out the award in Split 2, it is going the way of SCR's Andrew Hoffman after an incredible recovery drive to come back to former glory and former form. Now, more so than ever, he needed this sort of result after the season that he has had all season, which I think even he has agreed has been not up to par at all. He gets this well deserved. In fact, he's joined the green room to have a chat to us. So we'll have a quick chat to Hoffy. Congrats, Hoffy. Driver of the Day Award tonight, down 1 spot, but stayed in the top 10. And as we were saying, a real turnaround race for you after what has been quite a disappointing season thus far for yourself.
Yeah, cheers. I would have picked Mulford myself for Driver of the Day, but thank everyone for voting for me. Yeah, Mikey's been testing with us, and it's just brought an extra level in, and a lot of the duties in the team have been shared around, so it's allowed me to concentrate on driving more rather than coaching. Starting a team, running a team, organising everything is a big responsibility, and yeah, shout out to the team for helping me turn it around, and still got a fair way to go yet. But,
It ain't a small cake, is it? It's a full bakery to start up a team and get it running nice and smooth. It's one where it takes not only dedication from yourself but from your drivers as well, and everyone pulling up their weight as they go along.
Yeah, in my case, I burnt that cake to smithereens. So, yeah, no, thanks for that.
Oh, mate, it's been a great drive from you tonight. Hopefully this is signs of going upwards and onwards throughout the rest of this season. As you mentioned, this is now more or less a laying of the bricks type of season for you to set up some foundations for season 24. Hopefully you continue to get some solid runs inside of the top 10, and you can come back into Split 2 next season where maybe you can challenge for some podiums again, or at the least maybe even some top 5s.
Yeah. Oh, well, Most Sport's my favourite track in the whole sim. I've had a lot of success there. So with the improving I'm doing now, I'm hoping for at least a top 5 there. These guys are so fast, and it takes so much effort to sort of even get near them. It's a real credit to them.
It may be your favourite track, Hoffy, but if they spray it with water, I feel it may become your least favourite track.
Yeah, I've done testing in the rain, so yeah, no, it's all good.
All right, mate. Well, thanks for coming over to quick chat to us. Congratulations on the Driver of the Day award. Best of luck next week at Most Sport. We look forward to seeing how you go and how the resurgence of Hoff continues throughout the rest of this season.
Well done, Hoffy.
Yeah, thanks very much, and thanks to everyone in the league. There's so much work that goes into it. I don't think people have a real good idea on the effort that goes in on the background, and yourself and Mr. Fisher as well. There's a lot that goes into it, and I want to thank you.
No worries, Hoffy. Thank you so much for not only joining us here tonight, but also watching every week. Thanks to Dane as well. I'm sure all of Ukraine is now lit up with fireworks that their vet's hero of Andrew Hoffman has finally gotten something out of his racing, and hopefully it can continue to be more of a push forward for yourself and for those guys for what they're doing and what you're doing here in Vets, and it can all come together in a positive end for everyone involved. So yeah, congratulations. As I said, best of luck next week. We'll see how you go, and hopefully, as I said, you keep it out of trouble and you keep driving the car forward.
Yeah, thanks. Oh yeah, speaking of Dane, big shout out to Dane, and the crew's there is injured at the moment, so he's in hospital. But yeah, he'll get back to it. He don't want to give up, and don't forget he's doing it for the rest of us.
That's it, mate. That's it. All right. Well, thanks so much, Hoffy. Really appreciate it. Andrew Hoffman, our Driver of the Day winner this week, ladies and gentlemen. One of the oldest souls in the Vets in terms of how many races he's done and how long he's been around the clock with the Vets. But Brett, I mean, what a drive from our race winner, Ricky Hyde. His first win of the season. He cracks the orange number next to his name. It is now official. He is the championship leader. And we'll run that orange number next to his name next week when we head up towards Canada in Canadian Tire Motorsport Park.
How good is it to get another winner?
I know. It feels so good.
Another fresh winner.
Yes.
How good is that?
Screw you, Matt Muggleton, getting 2 wins this season. Let us have 10 different winners, please. Yeah. I joke, of course. I kid.
No, but that's fantastic. There's a testament to the split and how well the guys have put the split together. And like we talked about before, 27 cars within a second, the whole field within 1.6 seconds. Yeah. And why wouldn't you be pumped to see where the rest of this series is going, because another new winner, and like what are we going to see in the closing stages? Like we've got to just throw your hat up the air and see where it all lands, because it's on. It's going to start and heat up. Jim's just saying in the chat before, the gloves are off, the elbows are out, So he's not going to want to let this championship go either. I mean, in that call there where you redid the numbers, like Jim was down fifth, on that list, if I'm correct. So he's going to want to sort of, put his head down, bum up, and get the car happening and pointing in the right direction and moving forward in the next few races. So it'll be great to see where he goes and the rest of these guys too. So we're in for a treat. We're in for a real treat.
Yeah, I've received a message as well from Ricky Hyde. He's up at Harvey Bay at the moment in Queensland, so he can't join us to have a chat. But what he can do is he's sent a message through. He's mentioned everyone's tough competitors. The top 20 all have their day in the sun. Thanks to RC management and volunteers for their tireless efforts. It's always appreciated. Love the broadcast team. He said he'll watch when he's back in Brizzy, representative of Split 2. So thanks so much, Ricky, for sending us a message. Appreciate you when you do watch along. Appreciate you watching along. Congratulations on that race win as well. But after all that, we come to an end this evening after what was an incredible race out at Winton here this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, we go racing to Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, and I think I've actually selected the wrong one. No, I haven't.
I'll just roll with it.
No, I picked the right one. I actually did pick the right one. No, what's funny is I do obviously my Porsche Cup broadcast on the Monday, and we have Road Atlanta coming up this week. And what did I do for the B-roll? I picked Road America as the preview for the B-roll. So I'm like, oh well, that's great. But massive appreciations to you once again, Brett, for being along for the ride. It's been a great season thus far with you in the booth
pleasure.
with me, and I so appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the rest of this season with you and to seasons in future as well. If you're happy to stick around, it's been an absolute pleasure. Big shout out as well to all the series sponsors once again. Racecraft Simulations, the title sponsors. The address once again that you can go visit if you're in the WA area, 16 Gregan Road, Perth Airport. Go chat with John and the team. They'll get you sorted out with a rig, or maybe even test out some of theirs they have on the floor. As well, a Logitech Jeep.
Send me PT1.
Yes, send us some testers of the PT1s, please. Big shout out to Logitech G, Parramatta SCU, Player One Sim Gear, Nova Sim Sports, Sud Speed Gloves, LCG Images, and Chubby Buns Burgers for the Driver of the Day award. This week it went the way of Andrew Hoffman. Next week it could go to you. But for myself, Hamish Munro, and Brett Fisher alongside. Appreciate your time, appreciate your effort. If you're watching on Infinity Broadcasting, be sure to hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on the V8 Vets channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button as well. And the bell icon on both, and the like button too. It helps support both channels, helps support the series, helps support the broadcasters. For the Vets across your weekend, tomorrow night Super Saturday returns with Split 3 action at 6:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. The Team AJR boys back in the booth for that one. And then your Split 4 action at 9:30 p.m. 9 o'clock p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time with John Van Ray. And the Chook raffle as well, an adjusted day to help with Mother's Day for that Chook raffle. Maybe you can win yourself a chicken to give to your mum on Sunday. Happy Mother's Day to all the mums out there as well for Infinity Broadcasting Monday night. VRS Virtual Racing School Porsche Cup Series Round 8 action out at Road Atlanta. That race is going to be an absolute blinder. It's a rush race format. If you are confused as to what a rush race is, come and watch along on Monday with myself and James Parfitt in the booth over on the Infinity Broadcasting channel, and you might find something you enjoy of those Porsche Cup cars. But for myself, Hamish Munro Brett Fisher alongside, appreciate your time, appreciate you being here with us once again. We'll see you guys next week for Canadian Tire Motorsport Park. But until then, stay safe, drive hard, and as always, bye for now.
Can't wait to hear those engines roar. Hot days and summer nights, finish line in the sights. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be sparks flying, rubber burning, doors banging, temperatures rising. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be hot days and summer nights, finish line in the sights. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. There'll be sparks flying, rubber burning, doors banging, temperatures rising. Can't wait to hear those engines roar. They're gonna roll. Ooh, they're gonna roll.
The Racing Series is a new milestone in Logitech G. all the great old wheels, the G29, the G920, the G923, they all have their own unique way of connecting to each other, but there's no room for expansion with those products.
So the question arose was, what if we were to give the opportunity for the racer to switch out from a drifting wheel to a GT rim?
With the wheel hubs that we've created, that's got a very specific button set, but you can replace any of the steering wheels.
And the real lovely aspect to this was we could give the user, driver and the racer the opportunity to experience different genres of race.
That allows drivers to craft high quality, customized setups that resonate with your individual racing style.
When we start with the design, we always start sketching. Very often, once we've got sketches, we start discussing with engineering.
We had 3 rounds of engineering testing or user testing where we invited in users from sim racing, and every single round of feedback we refine, the product based on what they tell us.
In this sim racing lab, again, we're going to use data to really analyze what a driver needs. We've used everything from eye tracking to the inputs from the pedals, the inputs from the, let's just say, input devices, the wheel and the pedals, the shifter. We're taking that and we're compiling it so that we can build different products based on those individuals' needs for all consumers and all drivers.
I don't know of anyone else in the industry that's actually doing this kind of research into their products to see how their products are affecting performance of their users.
We've built the product to make sure that it's as reliable as possible.
So the innovations in engineering that I'd say we're most proud of is the sequential handbrake and shifter toolless changeover. This is now a patented system, so it's really easy for the user to just switch between modes.
If you give people the tools to do what they want, they will.
They will just go off and have fun.
Introducing the Rackraft PT1, custom-built full chassis racing simulator. The design project, codenamed The Cage, an 80/40 extrusion chassis sitting on top of a Sigma Integrale DK2 Plus 4-point full motion actuator system. No compromises in the cockpit of the PT1 simulator. To maximize the experience, we start with a 49-inch ultra-wide monitor for the greatest field of view in a small footprint of the simulator, down to the SimuCube wheelbase that's tucked up and behind the monitors with SimCore extensions to get things out of the driving area. Everything is connected to a Cube Controls GTX steering wheel with the built-in dash and all the extra button functions available at your fingertips. Driving through the Raceworks S1 pedals, the potentiometer throttle and the 2 hydraulic pedals for brake and clutch ensures you maximize the feel underfoot, and seating yourself into an OMP HTER bucket racing seat with OMP belts connected to a G-belt tensioner to provide that extra feeling and the heightened experience while you're driving. Additional interfaces and accessories in the PT1, we have twin butt kickers, one on either side of the OMP seat, as well as a Jinx sequential shifter, the SimPush Race Logic timer to the left-hand side, a Racecraft built-in WinSim kit with Philips Hue lighting and a built-in soundbar, plus the OMP side net to finish off the experience in the PT1. The Racecraft PT1, build number 1, the ultimate in sim racing experience, combining the best products in the market with the passionate, no-compromise approach that goes beyond racing simulation.